Every lap, every race, every bit of paint traded for every hard-fought place. Every checkered flag and trophy raised. Every ounce of dirt, sweat, and gears. They're all jammed inside every can of NOS Energy. Go ahead, open up a can.
Welcome into Husets Speedway. It is the biggest week of racing in South Dakota, hands down, bar none. The BillionAuto.com Husets High Bank Nationals, presented by Menards. It all kicks off tonight with the Husets Hustle. Sean Niestead with Connor Wade will be out here 5 until 6 o'clock every night here, local time, before we do go racing all 4 nights here at Husets Speedway. We are on the My Race Pass stage. This is Race Day Live, presented by DIRTVision, to get you set to go for 4 nights of racing, 2 of which have 6-figure paydays. And Connor, this is a week that I know locally we're all looking forward to, and I know everyone with the World of Outlaws is as well.
Well, it's great to be back at Huset, so we appreciate you and your team for being so hospitable, and Todd Queering and Doug Johnson, everybody that host the Outlaw series, and DIRTVision, all of us. We're going to have a great week. And, you know, you hate to think about negative things and bad things, and you hate to dwell in the past, but you can't come in here and think about, almost in a good way, what happened last year. This place was underwater 364 days ago, but you come back in here, you laugh about that, you put a smile on your face, and you're like, now we're going to get it in, now the weather's going to cooperate, and we're going to give out some money this week. So it's going to be a good week.
It's absolutely gorgeous right now here in Brandon, South Dakota, and I know one of the drivers that certainly has to be excited to get back right here to Huset Speedway is Bill Balog. Bill, first of all, thanks for joining us today.
Oh, yeah, thank you guys.
Finishes, your last 3 finishes here at Huset's, 3rd, 5th, and 9th, 9-5-3, so your most recent is that 3rd. I would imagine you're ready to get in the race car tonight.
Yeah, I definitely love this place, you know, and we've been good here for the most part. We've, you know, I think the first time I came here, I don't remember what year it was, but destroyed the car, you know, and I think I did it one other time here. It's easy to do, but yeah, just we've had some success here. I haven't won a race, but we're definitely feeling good about this weekend.
This racetrack changed a lot over the years. It's changed ownership. It's changed names. They've reconfigured the racetrack itself a couple of times. With the reconfigurations of the racetrack, has it changed for you as a driver and even the people working on the cars as well?
I mean, I guess a lot of things change. You know, the tires change and the motors and things just kind of evolve over time. So you just got to, you know, go in there with what you think you're going to, you know, have the best luck with. And for the most part, I mean, I think the shape and everything is pretty consistent. You know, it's just a high-banked little racetrack, and we seem to do pretty good at those sometimes. So, but yeah, like I said, just love this place. I came here years ago, and I got to meet Doug Wolfgang, and I remember he signed our Lone Wolf book, and we ended up buying a Wolf Weld and getting to talk to him on the phone. It was just super cool, you know, and just all the history here is pretty awesome.
When you come into a track, coming off of the great runs that we just spoke of, do you take a look at where the car was and where the settings were and the setup was last year, and do you try to unload somewhat close to that, or do you take what you've learned between those time periods and out on the road this year and try to go something more along those lines?
Yeah, definitely a combination of both those. We try to, you know, keep the car attitude the same, but you know, you can't go exactly off what you did, so you know, you try to unload that way, I guess, and then just kind of just jump on as quick as you can for qualifying. You know, you get those few laps of hot laps, and you know, hopefully everything just goes well and you have some speed. But yeah, definitely, I focus in on all that setup stuff. I just love it. I think about it all the time. I screw it up once in a while, and you know, and maybe that's just from overthinking it, but somebody's got to do it. Somebody's got to think about it and do it. And if you can give yourself a good car, you can have a good finish.
You know, one thing that goes along with going on the road with the Outlaws and just racing on the national scene is, you know, you have to run big races, you have to run the crown jewel events. You've improved at those tremendously, honestly, just in your first year. You led laps at the Nationals prelim. You made the Nationals. You got pretty good at Volusia, which is a big week to start the year. Podium in a 100,000 win race at Huset's. What have you learned that it takes to compete in marquee races against the best of the best?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think just racing a lot. You know, you can get really nervous or, you know, anxiety. There's all this stuff, and you know, if you can keep your head screwed on straight, I think that's a pretty big deal. we kind of grew up racing at smaller racetracks, and some of the bigger racetracks is, that's really what's going to, define you as a driver too. So, yeah, I think just keeping your head screwed on straight, racing a lot is just the biggest thing. You always have that another night to do it, and yeah, I just definitely, I'm old, but this is the fastest I've ever been, so I feel pretty good.
You talk about keeping your head right, so that's an all-day deal. That's not just when you're getting in the race car. So walk us through what a day like today looks like for Bill Balog.
Take a nap, first thing.
He takes a lot of naps. Every freaking day when I've got to interview him for our DIRTVision pre-race show, I go by and I ask Dennis where he's at, and he's taking a nap.
There's nothing wrong with that, though.
No, I rely on naps, yeah. And I don't sleep the greatest, so I require them. But, yeah, I think Dennis will usually kind of unload the car and get things out and ready, and then we'll kind of just test the air, see what it's going to take to fuel the engine, kind of take a look at the racetrack, look at some tire stuff, set our shocks, and kind of just get those things done in those last couple hours before hot laps. Yeah, I think just all that stuff, get your helmet ready, things that maybe you didn't get to do during the week, and then yeah, just try to draw a good number.
One of my favorite, if not my favorite moment of you at the High Bank Nationals last year was the King to the Hill pole shuffle to line up the feature on Saturday. You were one of the first cars out, so you were seated pretty low, and you gained a bunch of spots. I think you worked your way to start, I think, in row 2. And I remember Dennis in the infield saying, damn it, I didn't think he'd make it this far. I hope I put enough fuel in it, and he doesn't run out. But think back to the pole shuffle last year and just kind of, what your adrenaline was like in an event like that.
Yeah, it was cool. We kind of went back to that qualifying setup a little bit. We changed a few things to see if we could get a little more speed, and we were just stuck super good, I'm kind of with Dennis. I didn't think we'd make it that far either, so I don't blame him there. But yeah, we were definitely good. We had, we'd advanced, up into that second row then of the feature, and it really helped us for the race. So it was exciting, and how they do it now is really cool.
It seems like from the outside looking in, you're a pretty cool, calm, demeanored driver. When you come into a racetrack, whether it's a normal night with the Outlaws or a big week like this, how do you stay so calm when there's so much on the line and this is your living and you have to perform?
Yeah, I think we've been just looking forward to going to these races. Our car's fast, so it's not like we're, we kind of had a little bit of a tough feature the other night, but we've been fast, so it's easier to come into these races if you've already had a little bit of speed, I think. And we still need to probably win or get some more podiums here, I think would be safe. But yeah, I don't know. I want to do well, and we've been good, so that confidence kind of helps us get through to that next one.
Have you been able to take the time to reflect on, getting back to victory lane with the Outlaws at Talladega after a long drought and after all the work you'd put in the last couple of seasons, and how much do you appreciate being able to win that race early this year?
Yeah, that was good for us, and we've been trying to kind of get that same feeling, and we've had it a few times, but for the most part, yeah, I haven't really thought about it that much. I look at that note every once in a while, the notebook and the setup, but we really haven't had any tracks kind of similar to that. But yeah, it was definitely a great night for us. Anytime you can do well with these guys, it's just huge. And yeah, I just definitely want to have a good week here, and maybe do it again.
You just said with these guys. Is it still surreal that you are one of those guys? You are an outlaw. You are an outlaw winner. You're a regular. You're up front on a regular basis. Does it ever set in that you are one of those guys?
Yeah, I guess so, a little bit. Maybe not fully, but yeah, I think I pretty much fit in here, I feel like.
How's life on the road? Year number 2.
It's good, yeah. I probably should have went from Knoxville to here. I didn't realize that load-in for T-shirt trailers was yesterday, so we just got here, but no, it's been good. We've been making it home pretty much every week. Just working and it's just completing tasks, fixing broken things.
You broke out a new motorhome this year, right?
What's that?
Didn't you get a new motorhome this year?
Yeah, that last one, the insurance company took it when we were here last time.
That's right.
And when you're home, it looks like you also spend some time on the grill too.
Oh yeah, we got like a Weber griddle, and try to cook on that. We did it this week again, so I try to do that as much as we can and feed Dennis, and if Susan or we got some volunteers that come over once in a while, Kevin or Matt. So yeah, we try to feed everybody.
Is it easier now in year 2 when you've seen most of the racetracks? You know where to go. You know where the late night car washes are. You've been through the grind, and it's maybe a bit more familiar. Does that bring up the comfort level at all?
Absolutely, yeah. We have our kind of our car wash stuff in the trailer, and we just have kind of that whole thing where we don't go to the car wash every single night. It's just too much work for two or three guys, but. Yeah, it's nice just to know where you're going to park, where you got to be and when you got to be there. And that whole, I've always ran a schedule and a series with a schedule, so I like it that way.
And you kind of have a rotating cast of crew members, too. Obviously, Dennis is with you every week, but, we'll see some people that come down to Florida. There's always a couple extra guys whenever we're up in Wisconsin. Seems like maybe big weekends like Eldora or Knoxville, you'll have somebody else come in. And still, you do pretty well considering your crew isn't always the exact same. How do you keep everybody on the same page whenever they're not with you every week?
Yeah, we just... just try to keep maybe a couple of the same guys in those regions out in Pennsylvania. There's Matt and a couple other guys, and Nick. And then when we go to California, we got Clayton helps us out there. So there's they kind of all know what they're doing, and we actually have some lists of these kind of generic lists, and we just some guidelines and stuff. Don't make sure the tires don't fall off and things like that.
Don't wake Bill up during a nap.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, rule number 1: don't wake up Bill during the nap. Are you ready to go for this week? What's your confidence level sitting at, knowing you've had some success here, you've had some success this season, you've been here, you've done this?
Yeah, I think so. We're going to try. We have a littler motor that runs really good, so we want to try that tonight and just see how it qualifies. Obviously, huge field, best cars. It's going to be tough. So we're going to see how that goes because it's show-up points for us. We might be able to try something that way, and then maybe save our better motor for Knoxville and Kings Royal and stuff. But so we're going to try that for tonight, and then maybe switch it around for tomorrow. But yeah, definitely confident. I feel great. I've had elbow and shoulder stuff over the years, and I just haven't felt better.
We've got 30 seconds left with you, Bill. To close us off, give us your thoughts on this format. Invert of 6. If you qualify good, you're going to be in the back of the heat.
It'll be tough. I didn't even know that.
Well, there's an invert of 6, so if you set quick time, you start 6. So not back to the heat, but middle.
Yeah, it's not that bad. I mean, that could be worse.
Passing points, right?
Yeah, I mean, you gotta pass cars and pass a couple cars in a heat race if you do qualify well. So yeah, it'll definitely be tough, but they got an interesting format there.
All right, Bill, thanks so much for joining us, and good luck this week.
Thank you.
That wraps up Block 1. Up next, we have the general manager of Husets Speedway, Doug Johnson, and his son, who will be competing at Husets all week, and Sean, that's been on a good run here as of late.
Yeah, we'll talk with Caleb Johnson, who's sitting on 3 victories on the season here at Husets when we come back to the My Race Pass stage.
I think it's a very big deal that we have AMCUS, providing us with the AMCUS cutting tools throughout our series and World Racing Group. It's good that we were able to get a product in that's reliable and it does the job. If for some reason we had to cut a car apart or get access to a driver or a patient, we know that this tool here is definitely the one that we're going to work the best, get us in there quickly.
dirt, grit, grime. Your truck, your toys, your weekend warriors. They take a beating and bring the dirt. Land that brings unstoppable cleaning power built to conquer any grime from the track to your garage. Built for the relentless, built for the outlaws. Clean what matters, be Lambda tough.
It's the Husets Hustle preliminary night from Husets Speedway. My name is Connor Wade and Sean Huset joining you from the My Race Pass stage. DIRTVision coverage taking you all the way through the start of Hot Laps tonight at 7 p.m. Central Time. Sean is now joined by the general manager of Husets Speedway, as well as track champion from 2024 and a three-time winner this season, his son, Caleb Johnson. Doug, Caleb, good to have you guys here.
Thanks for having us on.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Let's start with Doug, and we'll talk about the events. Tell our fans here at the racetrack and back home what they should expect for the 2025 High Bank Nationals week.
Well, I think with the format we have, it's going to be unique because, kind of like what Bill was just saying, you have to race all the time. Every time you're on the racetrack, it means something. From qualifying to your heat race, you accumulate points. Like, even just getting in the show tonight, it sets up for tomorrow night, and then we start over again on Friday and do the same format over again. So I think it gives the guys a chance. I said this the other day, and I think in an interview where maybe here, a killer motor isn't as important as say qualifying at Knoxville. So I think it gives our guys that race here weekly, a great opportunity and a chance to make the show. But you still got to race. That's the key, and that's what we're trying to promote, is what fans want to see is great racing. So I think the format is conducive to that.
And Doug, I think it's also interesting that after the first two nights, there's going to be a check for $100,000, but then we're going to wipe the slate clean. So if somebody comes out and has some trouble tonight or trouble tomorrow night, they're not out of the running for Saturday.
Exactly, and we've done everything. I think every different format we could think of. And this was the idea that we come up with, where it does. If you have one bad night, for example, tonight, it doesn't ruin the rest of your weekend. That you can come back and still have a chance to compete for $250,000 here come Saturday.
So Caleb, let's go to you now. As a driver, now obviously you have some bias because your dad is the GM of the place, but how excited does it make you as a local driver whenever you can come and run for so much money, so much start money, so much money to win against the best of the best?
Yeah, I think it's pretty big. Like you said, hometown track. Just racing here, growing up, coming here all the time, and having a huge event like this, something they've been working on for many, many years. So it's cool to see all the fans. The midway's already packed with people, which is cool on a Wednesday. Usually, most places you don't see something like that. So I think this event's only going to get bigger and bigger and better. So hopefully, just a good week overall.
I was reminiscing about one of your first 410 shows or your first Outlaw shows here where the Minnesota Mafia guys were helping you out, and you come here to Huset's, and I think we interviewed you at one point that night, and you said, yeah, I'm here, but I'm just going to get my ass kicked, and that's going to be the end of the show. Now you're in the hunt of things. Do you look back and look at how your career has taken off the last couple of seasons?
Yeah, I think it's kind of cool to see how the last kind of 3 to 4 years that I've progressed just as a driver. Like you said, 3 or 4 years ago, I knew I was coming here to get my butt kicked, and now I feel like I have a little bit of a chance. Obviously, racing against the best drivers in the entire country, so it's going to be tough no matter what. And I at least feel better about it this year. We've had speed every time we've raced here this year, and I think that's the main thing. We've been able to qualify good, and hopefully if we're able to do that tonight, we can just be able to pass some cars and set ourselves up for the future.
So I hadn't met either one of you until I joined the tour last year. I'd like to know more about the background in racing for the Johnson family. Doug, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe your father was a Hall of Famer at Jackson Motorplex, just got inducted, maybe it was last year. Talk us through your background and how you brought Caleb into it and what he started in and how he's turned into a Huset's track champion.
Yeah, I just grew up a race fan. Growing up in Jackson, Minnesota, you really didn't have a choice. We went to the races every Saturday night. We came out here as a kid growing up every Sunday night. And my parents were just fans. And growing up, I never really raced, but I was a fan. And then I got involved in the media side of it. I actually was a track photographer here at Husets for about 15 years. I published a Dirt Track Fury Sprint Car Yearbook for about the same amount of time. I took over from Alan Brown, the National Sprint Car Annual, and did that for about 5 years. So I was always kind of involved in the media side of it. And, I introduced Caleb. I mean, when he was probably 2 years old or younger, he started going to the races with us, and it just becomes an addiction. That's about all I can say. It just gets in your blood, and that's all you want to do. And so I mean, he started racing go-karts when he was 5, and then kind of the rest is history.
Did you know from day one that this is what you wanted to do, Caleb?
Yeah, I think so. Obviously, growing up here, I remember being in the T-shirt trailer back there with my mom, just playing with little race cars, just wondering how I could become a sprint car racer, and I've just surrounded myself with really good people, and they've kind of helped me make that happen. So it's kind of cool to look back on things like that. But yeah, I'm living the dream.
Things have changed for you from not just number and color scheme, but you've teamed up with some other characters for the season. And I say characters because they're hiding behind the camera right now. Talk about that transition for you, what it's been like, and those that are helping you now, because you've come out of the gate swinging this year at Huset. You got that first win, you backed it up the next week, and you three-peated, and you've been on the podium or in the top 5, I believe, every single night so far.
Yeah, it's been a great season. I actually teamed up with Dennis Gainey at the end of last year. We did some races together, did some local 360 stuff at Knoxville, and headed out east at the end of the year, and then kind of put together something for this year. So I was able to bring all my sponsors with, which was huge, and brought a couple of my crew guys with as well. And then we've kind of, I would say, started a really good team, and just having a blast. Got a lot of good crew guys behind me. People are working hard in the shop, and just got a lot of great support from all of our sponsors. And we haven't been that great at Knoxville. We've been able to race really well, but we've come out here with a really good baseline. The car's been really good every night, and I think I've told Greg before, I'm just the lucky one that gets to drive it. I mean, the thing just kind of goes wherever I want it to, and I've been having a blast.
Obviously, you deserve a ton of credit for that success, but I feel like this year, the last couple of months, people have really started to respect just how smart of a wrench and smart of a guy Dennis Gainey is. What stands out to you about him, and what was able to make him so successful?
I think a lot of it is just his passion for racing. He just wants to help racers like myself, and he's got a couple race teams. So just his passion for it and his willingness to want to see guys like me succeed has been the main thing. So he's accumulated some really good crew guys that have been really, really easy to work with, and that's only just really helped my transition into racing for him full time.
I want to go back. You talked about growing up here at Huset's and playing with the cars in the dirt and being by the trailers. And Doug, with all your time here at Huset's, you guys fully understand what this place means in sprint car racing. So I want to go back to that first win, the season opener this year. Caleb comes off the scales, rolls by you. How hard was it to control yourself at that moment? And then when Caleb will come back to you, I want to know what it was like when you got out and you realized you were standing on the front stretch in victory lane as a winner at Huset's. Doug, first you.
Well, I got a really funny story to tell about that night, because Caleb sent me a nasty text and chewed my ass about he goes, "This is the dumbest format I've ever seen in my life." And he ends up starting 9th and wins a feature. And I said, "How's the format now?" And I was so proud of him, because I think it motivated him that night. I mean, he was mad just the way the format turned out. I mean, I think, were you quick time in your group and didn't make the invert, so it's just the way it was. And, so for him to come on and win that night, starting 9th, was pretty dang cool, I saw this in him. I've seen it over the years growing up, and when he played basketball, I mean, when he puts his mind to do something, he's going to get it done. And that night he did that, and to get his first 410 win here was pretty special, especially on his birthday. That was really cool.
Was that the first ever text message you've received from a driver mad about something?
Yeah, they never get mad at me. I mean, I think drivers, yeah.
They're easygoing people.
And for you, Caleb, when you got out of that car, and you was there a moment where you realized, like, hey, this is Husets Speedway, and I'm a 410 winner?
Yeah, I think just rolling across the scales after I took the checkered flag, it was actually kind of hard to believe. I really didn't think I had a chance starting 9th. Just like my dad said, I wasn't too happy with the format. But the one good thing about that is it's made me race hard every time I hit the track, which I think has prepared me for an event like this. Like I said, we've been very fast in qualifying, so it's made me start 4th every week and actually have to pass cars. So as mad as I was, I mean, it is what it is. Everybody's got to race the same format. I was just kind of being a little baby that night, and it's only motivated me to do the same all year long. So it was a very cool night. It was cool to back it up 2 more times after that, and I think the week after I got 5th, and I almost wondered, like, what the hell's wrong with myself? I mean, but that's just racing. Obviously, you can't win every night, but to be fast and have consistent speed has been very, very cool.
So, Doug, I want to cap this off with this. I've been fortunate the last year or so to get to know Todd Queering pretty well. He's incredibly fascinating. I'm sure Sean would agree, just his passion for the sport. Try to help these fans and our viewers back home understand, the ones that don't know Todd, how much he's helping the industry by all the things he's doing.
Well, you said the passion is the key. I mean, and that's what I told him 10 years ago when I went to work for him. I said, I don't have all the experience in the world, but I said my passion is probably as high as anything. That's the one thing I'm bringing to the table was my passion for the sport when I started working for Todd. And, what he's doing now is just incredible. I mean, I think people really don't realize, every year he's made improvements out here, to make this place better and more successful and given us all that work for him the opportunity to succeed. And, he's in the other businesses that he's had over the years, he's just always surrounded himself with great people, and that's what we've done here as well. And I think that's the key. It's just like any race team. When you surround yourself with great people, great things happen. And Todd's always been that way, and has been able to do that.
Thank you guys for coming and joining us, and looking forward to being around both of you all week.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah,
Appreciate
thank
it.
you.
Doug and Caleb Johnson. We've got our first of several rookies with the Outlaws this season. They're going to be joining us on the My Race Pass stage after this break on DIRTVision.
It's ARP Fasteners for whatever you race. From 2 wheels to 4. Off-road, on-road, even water. From the flat track to the salt flats. Grassroots racers, weekend warriors, and pros alike trust ARP. Made in America quality, family-owned and operated. When failure is not an option, it's ARP-Bolts.com. No matter what you race.
There's a moment behind the wheel of what I've built, where power overrides gravity, and I hit that zero moment. Zero doubts, zero fear, zero competition. No rule or mold I can't break. And limits, absolutely zero. And there's a NOS Zero sugar to get me there.
If this is your idea of ladylike, you're gonna fit right in. Join us at Toyota Racing.
It's one of the biggest weeks in sprint car racing in 2025, with 2 six-figure paydays up for grabs over the next 4 days here at Husets Speedway. And for some drivers, it's going to be their first time being part of this High Bank Nationals week, and that's exactly the case for Zack Hampton, who joins us now. Are you ready? Deep breath. What's the mood right now on the Bill Rose Racing team?
Yeah, I think we're ready. I don't know that I need a deep breath. I try to treat the bigger races just like any other race, and a little bit of it comes down to pill draw with these big fields, and I don't think ours tonight was very great, but I think you can qualify good at any point out here. So just gonna do the best we can and try to qualify good, and the rest should be easy from there.
Yeah, we call you a rookie because it's your first year on tour, but I don't feel like you're a rookie. You've been around a while. You've been around the sport, whether it's, driving for yourself, working for other people, maybe both at the same time at times. Do you feel like a rookie, or do you feel experienced like a guy that's been around the block a time or two?
I would say yes and no. Like I have been racing at least wing 410s for, 4 or 5 years now. But I never really got to race a lot. Most of my seasons were like 30 races, and most of these guys that I'm competing against have been doing 80 for, 10, 20 years, and even some of the other rookies are still running 60, 70 per year. So I don't quite feel like a rookie. I feel like I know what I'm doing, but I still don't have as much seat time as I think a lot of the guys I compete against every week.
Talking about seat time, limited here at Husets. I believe one showing as a driver. You broke in the A main, got credited with 24th. So how do you get set to go on a night like this when you've only had one go-round at this racetrack?
I don't know. I think one, I don't want to say was enough, but was kind of enough. We've gone to a lot of racetracks that are like this, and the smaller racetracks I don't think take as many laps. Like you look at Knoxville Raceway, that place, it really doesn't matter who you are. You have to log laps to get good there. And the bull rings, it just doesn't seem to quite be that way. And so I don't know. I don't think there's anything in particular. I mean, my one quick time this year was at a racetrack that I'd never been to before in my life. So I think sometimes that almost makes it easier. There's no expectations. There's no, last time this worked and that worked. You just go out and cut the best laps you can.
You had a really good night at Eldora, 6th, your best finish of the season, but then you had a quick time at River Cities. River Cities and Eldora aren't that similar, a little different in size. Are you a big track guy, or are you a smaller track guy like a Husets?
I think prior to even really this year, but last year I committed my whole season to running Knoxville locally, and I think that really helped my half-mile program. I think before that, most people, and even myself, would say, I'm a smaller 3/8 and smaller track kind of guy, but I think statistically this year we've done much better on the half miles. So I think that's helped me kind of get myself a little more well-rounded, and I don't know that I'm, on any given night, better at one or the other.
We had Bill Balog up here a little bit ago talking about how on his second season with the tour, there's a little more comfort out there. Your first full-time season as a driver, but you've got plenty of experience with Bill in the group out there. So how much do you lean on them when you're heading up and down the road and heading to the racetracks for the first time?
I think there's a few guys that I can lean on that I'm friends with, and there's some guys that I really haven't had many conversations with. I've noticed even just up to this point this year how much more open guys are as time goes on. I think a lot of people probably thought I wouldn't make it to this point, and that Bill and I would have maybe parted ways, or already got fired or quit, whatever. And I think guys have started to realize that maybe I'm not going away, and we've had good runs, and there's, I think some respect gained there. So I would say even weekly, there's more I can lean on guys, and when I have, questions or even just concerns or feeling unwell with situations.
I think you've beyond proven that you're, capable of running this tour, and that, you can race with these guys and contend with them. Do you want to be an outlaw for a long time? Is that, I don't have a feeling about you that you want to come and do this for a year or two and then, go be a part-time guy for a couple of years. I feel like you want to do this for a while.
Yeah, I hope that I can make a living for the rest of my life. Running on the Outlaw Tour, or, even just a true Outlaw schedule or whatever. I hope I get to do this for a long time. But before Bill called, like 2.5 weeks before Volusia, I was selling my stuff and was kind of ready to hang it up. And so I kind of saw this as maybe my one shot to live my childhood dream. And if that's all it is, that's, I'm okay with that. a lot of people never got to live theirs. So I hope I get to do it, until I'm old and whatever. But if I don't, I think getting to do this once is a pretty amazing opportunity, and I'm going to be happy with that regardless.
Is that crazy to you that you were 2 weeks away from calling it done?
Yeah, it is. I talked to Hunter Schoenberg a lot. We're really good friends before, and kind of just coming to terms with not racing. And it was funny that he kind of just told me, I think when you can let it go, when you're fully like I can be done. He's like, that's when the next opportunity will come up. And I barely come to terms with it or decided. And a couple weeks later, we're at Chili Bowl, and Bill asked if I wanted to run full time. So it's definitely pretty crazy how it all came together and how quickly.
You mentioned it being a childhood dream. Take us back. How did you get involved in sprint car racing? Where does this passion come from?
So I started in quarter midgets when I was 5. Really, I think I was like 4.5. And I raced quarter midgets up until I was about 11, and then we did the micro thing. And moved up to midgets when I was 14, and I ran those for 2 or 3 years. That was all family stuff. Started running a 305 in 2015 when I was 17, and we had traveled the country, and my dad was pretty wore out, and I'd asked if I cared if he sold the midget stuff, and I had that, so I was like, no, that's cool, like you and mom should, go enjoy, your time, and I won like the third night out, got fired that week. And I ran like 3 or 4 races in a midget and a wing 360 per year for the next like 3 or 4 years. And in 2019, I bought a roller from Brian Paulus for $4,500 and a Dash 12 from a non-wing guy, and blew it up in hot laps. First night I ran with a wing, and sat for like 6 months and talked my dad into helping me buy an All-Pro, and went to the 2019 Knoxville Nationals, which was, I would say, my first real wing 410 start. Not a great idea, but kind of just built my program up over time from there.
What attracted you? I know right now, obviously, wing sprinter racing is where it's at. I feel like 6 years ago, obviously, wing sprinter racing was still at the top. Midgets and non-wing sprints were still kind of there. I feel like, no disrespect to those worlds, but a little bit more prominent then than they were now. But even at that time, what stood out to you about wing racing over non-wing stuff?
I just always preferred it. Like, even in the micros, which I don't know that a non-wing micro is comparable to a non-wing sprint car, and a wing micro to a wing sprint car, but even in the micros, I just always preferred a wing. I think they're way more technical, they're faster. I just think it's so much harder to be good, and I would say I'm a bit of a perfectionist, and I enjoy that challenge. So I think that's why I always preferred the wing.
Talk about being a perfectionist. So what is it like when you come into a new team like this and you've got to learn each other's equipment and lingos and try to blend while also being that perfectionist?
Yeah, it's that part's probably been my biggest struggle this year. Fortunately, just from the beginning, Bill and I have got along really well. And, the mood, even on good or bad nights, has, been positive. And, but it's been really hard going from I'm setting up my own car and I'm maintaining my own car and I'm driving to the racetrack, the truck and trailer to the racetrack, to step back and just be a driver has been a challenge. But I think it's a lot of what our success this year has come from, for me at least. It's just made everything so much easier.
Some success, also some bad luck that you had, there for a couple of weeks. It was on and off the racetrack. It started with the crash at Port Royal. Some DQs after that for some, stuff that just happens. But you come back to Beaver Dam and you make the dash. And, how are you able to keep a good mindset through all of those struggles?
As far as how, I don't know, other than I promised myself when I agreed to do this that I was going to have a better mindset this year and be more positive. And it's been easier that we were fast. I mean, bad luck is bad luck, but having the speed made things easier. And Bill and Kevin are usually in good spirits. And Kevin's always happy. I haven't seen him mad yet. So having people that are also happy around makes it a lot easier for me to be happy myself.
So with the positive spirits in mind, what are the goals for this week?
I think the first goal just needs to be, make all 4 features and keep out of trouble. There can be a lot of that, and just kind of go from there and get where we can go.
Zach, it's been a pleasure having you on the road with the Outlaws in 2025. I hope to see you out here for a long time, and good luck this week. We appreciate you coming to talk to us.
Thanks, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
That's Zack Hampton. He drives the Bill Rose Racing number 6. We've got one more block of our My Race Pass stage today, Sean, and that's the guy they call Hot Sauce.
Drivers got some success here. Giovani Scelzi joins us here on the My Race Pass stage next.
DIRTVision would like to thank our friends at Elliott's Custom Trailers and Carts for helping us get from track to track.
You wanted the best, you got them for a rest. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt, the world of Outlaw.
It was just a no-brainer for me. I felt like over the years there's been so many back injuries and so many people getting hurt. Scott Kaufman and everybody at Chasm Racing Products have come up with a system that basically supports your back. It gives you that little bit of cushion that you need when you get in those wrecks or that downforce collision, and I feel like next level cutting edge technology that just helps us as drivers just be that little bit more safe. I'm thankful for everything that Chasm Safety Products has done, and I think that they're going to continue to innovate, and it's only going to get better and better for the future to come.
Racing is tough. It's not a sport for the weak, and the winning desire has to flow through your veins. Established in 1993 and only stocked in top-rated manufacturers is why BR Motorsports is your one-stop shop when it comes to your sprint car and midget needs. Call us today at 1-800-328-3333 and talk to racers to get the right parts you need when you need them. BR Motorsports, the leaders in sprint car parts technology.
Looking for a refreshing change? Say goodbye to sluggish performance and reach for the one that won't slow you down.
That's crisp.
Experience the force of clean, pure oil coursing through your engine. No matter what you drive, Wix Filters is the clear choice. Here's to filtration that works as hard as you do. Wix Premium Filters. Performance starts here.
Real American beer made for real Americans like us, brothers.
Welcome back to the My Race Pass stage. We have our final block of our stage show here today. We're going to be on the stage every day here at Husets this week through Saturday, 5 to 6 o'clock. After our stage show is concluded, we're going to turn things over to Dave Reef in the DIRTVision studio all the way back in Concord, North Carolina. He's going to show you some things, talk to some of our drivers in the field. You're also going to hear from Sean and I during that pre-race coverage as well. Until then, we have Giovani Scelzi, the 2023 World of Outlaws Rookie of the Year, a guy that in 3 high-make nationals starts has finished 8th, 6th, and 4th. So if the trend continues, you're going to finish 2nd Saturday. Does that sound good?
Yeah, I sure hope so, man. This is such a cool place. I mean, the Queering family has made so many improvements to this joint, and it's growing a lot every year.
You've been to Victory Lane here at Huset's back in 2022. Do you remember that night?
Yeah, it was a local show. I felt like we drove a long way from the night before or something, but yeah, it's cool when you can win a 410 show anytime, whether it's a local show or an Outlaw show. So to have one on the resume is pretty cool.
Talk about how badly you won a crown jewel. You've been close at Ironman. You've been close at Knoxville last year. You ran second. You had a good car at Eldora last year. And you've won some big races in your career. Haven't won one of the big three yet, or the big four if you include Husets in that. How badly do you want one of those?
Yeah, I mean, you always want to win the premier races, and probably been the closest at Knoxville. Obviously, you run fourth there twice and second last year, so it's not getting any easier, I can promise you that. So putting yourself in position those weeks, it's easy to look at the end goal and want to win, but you got to qualify good and put yourself in position to win during the week. So obviously with Wednesday leading into Thursday and Friday leading into Saturday, it's kind of two races broken up into 1 week. So a lot of money on the line, obviously, and it's super high intensity.
You talked about the nights being broken up, 2 nights and then 2 nights. Does that change the mindset? Does it give you some freedom to try some things here tonight and tomorrow night to set yourself up for Friday and Saturday? I don't want to overshadow a $100,000 payday here, but does it give you some of that freedom to try a thing or two?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think the little bit of trying stuff could either be, in your heat race on your prelim nights here this week with Wednesday and Friday, or kind of on the Thursday and Saturday heat races there to try and get in the redraw or wherever you got to be to be in the redraw for Thursday's show and Saturday's show. So, you want to be fast every time you hit the racetrack, but with the big heat race and the points being up for grabs, it obviously mixes things up a bit. You're going to have good guys starting in the third row of your heat race, and you could get a heat race where some really good guys might not qualify good, and they're on the front row of your heat race too. So, makes it really, really tough, and this place can be hard to pass in heat races, but I think with the sun shining and having great weather this week, they'll be pretty racy.
Is there a preferred starting spot for you in a heat race like with this format? Is if you set quick time, or say you make the invert, you're going to start sixth. A 6 to 6, maybe even a 6 to 5, probably doesn't get you in the feature. So would you almost prefer to be in row 2 for a heat race?
I don't know, man. It depends who's in your heat race. I feel like if you can go quick time or go in those top 3 spots and really go 6 to 3 in a heat race, I feel like you're going to be pretty solid. These heat races go really, really fast here with 11 or 10 second laps. So got to be super aggressive and do a lot of your work there in turn 1.
You talk about the laps going quick here. Take us through a lap at Husets Speedway. You've done plenty of them. What's it like? What's the banking like? Are there any nuances out there on the racetrack? We know turn 1's always shaded before 3. Does that play into any different feels on the racetrack?
Man, I feel like 2 is probably the hardest corner to get off, straight with grip. So 2 is normally in the sun and starts to dry up really quick at the end of qualifying, and then obviously turn 3 gets super slick and wide, and 4 the wall comes up fast. So the bottom here can be a key. I feel like once you get racing throughout the night and the top really gets high, so we'll definitely have 2 lanes of good racing.
Would you consider Huset's your wheelhouse as far as the types of tracks that you feel best at?
Yeah, I feel like it is. It always seems to create good racing, whether it's wet or dry. They've done a really good job keeping the bottom wet enough where it comes in the features, and you can run in the heat race sometimes. So it depends, man. It's going to be really, really warm this week with a lot of race cars, so I know they're on top of track prep.
You bring up the weather later this week. It's gorgeous right now, but we're looking at 90s. For a driver like yourself, you're going to be in all of your safety gear. Does that take a toll on a driver when we do have really hot weather?
Yeah, I mean, luckily our trailers and stuff, air conditioning inside of them, so you get time to rest, and I think it's good to be out in the heat a little bit and then not be cooped up there in the AC being cold all day long. So yeah, it does. I feel like this place is so high intensity, and you got to race so hard every single lap. It does wear on you a bit, and with a high lap count this week, it'll be tough.
Let's talk about 2025, coming into the year with high expectations after you were, a championship contender early last year. Hasn't exactly gone the way you wanted it to.
Yeah, definitely not. I feel like, Volusia was a bit of a hiccup for us and got going better there at the Bike Week show, and had a couple good weekends in Texas, won a race and ran third the following night. So it's a grind, man. It's extremely tough, and I feel like the 2 car has been the class of the series, class of sprint car racing, I feel. So we're all kind of chasing him. I think some of us have good weekends, some struggle, and vice versa. So had a solid weekend in Knoxville, ran 6th and 8th. So I feel like we're there. It's really tough to break in from that top 10 spot consistently to the top 5.
So how do you keep it going? How do you stay positive knowing that you have the talent to be up there? How do you not let a tough night get you down and become 2 or 3 tough nights just mentally?
I mean, luckily for us, we get to race the following night or the following weekend no matter what. So if you dwell on a bad night, you're going to struggle night after night, like you said. So got to throw it away, and the sun's going to come out tomorrow, even though sometimes you don't want it to.
How crazy is it to you, just the nature of what can happen in sprint car racing? I was talking to somebody about this at Knoxville last week. You didn't forget how to drive a race car. Adam Clark didn't forget how to turn wrenches on a race car yet. You guys just have struggled this year. There's been times when you haven't had a ton of speed. You see that. Guys that are really good just struggle. Crew chiefs that are really good have slow race cars. Is that crazy to you how backward sprint cars can be sometimes?
Yeah, I think struggling sometimes makes you feel really alone, as weird as that sounds. And you get so caught up in your own race car and your own team. I think it's easy to get locked in and doesn't really make you feel better. But you look around the pit sometimes and you see other guys sometimes fighting the same problems you are. So it's tough, but I think when you have Adam Clark and Blake and Harley and a really good group of guys, along with ownership behind me, it's refreshing sometimes to know they still believe in you and they still think you can get it done.
Are those the ones you just mentioned there? Are those the ones you lean on when you need to make that phone call and say, hey, I need to talk or anything like that? Or, who else is it?
Yeah, my brother mostly. He's always the kind of shining light sometimes when things aren't going well. He can always kind of make me smile and make me laugh and make me forget about what's going on. So whether it's good times or bad time, he's definitely the one I will rely on.
You guys have a really young team this year. I think you're the second oldest member of your team, and you're 23, 24. What's that dynamic been like? You guys are just a bunch of kids out on the road.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, when you hire a new guy, you almost kind of expect them to know their job and know what to do, and it's really not fair for them to not have a job laid out and then get mad at them when they don't do that job. So Harley's done a really good job. Blake's done an incredible job as well. Adam's been with me since before I got to KCP. So known Adam for a long time. He's definitely a head down work guy and will outwork anybody, I feel like. So Blake being a bit younger than me and Harley only being 19 is weird, being the second oldest guy on the team for sure. Going from last year, I was the youngest guy on the team. So to have those guys work as hard as they do and have the good attitudes and it's tough out here and traveling as much as they do. Blake's from Wisconsin and Harley's from Pennsylvania. So they're gone from home a lot. Des Moines very foreign to them. So it's cool to have them guys support you.
I have to say, Connor, there is a certain irony in you calling a team some kids. But as you get set to go here for Husets, do you roll out the old notes? Do you try to come in here fresh, knowing what the season's been? What is the game plan at this moment? Because you guys are on the racetrack here in a little over an hour.
Yeah, a little bit of both, I feel like. This year we've gone back to some old setups that have worked and gone back to some that haven't. So we've been on kind of a path here, I feel like, the last month of improvement and trying to figure some stuff out with our shocks and really think outside the box and not always go back to the old notebook and learn and try and get faster.
Where's Maggie?
She's in the trailer chilling, trying to bite everyone that walks up to her.
Is she on the road every single week?
Every weekend, yep.
We love seeing her at the racetrack.
Yeah, it's another nice companion to have when no matter how bad you suck, she's always there and happy to see you.
We need like a best dog on tour competition between her, Pella, Bubba.
I almost brought her up here, but I'm afraid I would have lost her and wouldn't have been able to find her again.
As we're sitting here on a Wednesday, this is kind of impressive looking around at all of the people already here on Wednesday at Husets. It is Wednesday, right? Does this give you a different feeling as a driver coming into an event like this where we already know this place is buzzing and it's only going to continue to grow as the week moves on?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, Todd only took his place over in 2020, so in a short 5 years, and High Banks has only been around since 2023, I believe. So a relatively new race for the crown jewels we've had in sprint car racing for as long as I can remember. So it's very cool to see how much time they put in this place with Taylor and him and the whole crew they have, Doug Johnson. Like it's cool to see a group of people really care about making racing better.
I saw Tanner Holmes in a video the other day, and he was kind of recapping some of the issues they had at the NARC race the other night, and he mentioned how Dominic was one of the leading voices in the pit area, trying to help the series decide what they should do. Are Dominic and Giovani Scelzi ever going to own a racetrack one day?
Believe it or not, we actually talked about it. King Speedway in Hanford is gone away now, and don't know if I would have had the time to do it if I pulled the trigger, but I don't know, man. I mean, people have asked me what life looks like after racing, and I don't really know. I definitely want to be involved in racing, whether it's on a race team or on a racetrack or be involved in the series and try to make racing better for the fans and the drivers and just an overall fun experience for people.
What would a Scelzi Speedway look like?
Oof, well, if my dad's involved, nobody'd be allowed to race, but no. I don't know. We've had tons of conversations and tons of dumb ideas like that to try to pursue with ourselves and together. So it's a good question. You might see one day.
hear me out, taco truck, right? It's got to have a taco truck. What's your favorite part of race day?
Oh man, it's hard to get away from driving. I mean, no matter what's going on in your life, when you put your helmet on, that engine starts. Nothing else really matters. So, my dad told me a long time ago that, he misses driving the race cars. He doesn't miss all the sponsor stuff and all the, paperwork and all the nitty gritty stuff that goes with it. But driving race cars, there's nothing better.
Have you always felt that way? Since the first time you strapped into, I'm assuming, a micro or whatever the first thing you raced was?
Yeah, I feel like it. I mean, driving is what we all want to be, right? I mean, every crew guy and every kid that's standing around here wants to be a race car driver because we're the ones essentially get the glory when you win. So, yeah, I think so. I mean, my dad being a race car driver, obviously, and working on his stuff and owning his stuff through his life was a big motivator for me.
You talk about driving being the best part, putting the helmet on, and it's just you out there on the racetrack. So what's the mindset? You've been doing this a while. You're out there on the racetrack. The A-main's coming up. You've got to perform. You've got the 4 wide. Do you still think when you're out there, or is it at this point in your career you're doing?
Yeah, I mean, that's $1 million question, right? I mean, a lot of it is instinct, and things are happening so fast. I feel like under cautions and before the race, you can kind of have a game plan in turn 1, but after that, you're just kind of reacting to the cars around you. So, obviously, starting position really affects how you think about a race, whether you're starting 20th or on the pole. Kind of being able to control a race and control the pace out front is a bit easier sometimes when your car is good. So, yeah, I mean, it's really just, what situation you put yourself in throughout a race, whether it's a heat race or a 40-lap or 50-lap feature. So it changes every night.
We're going to finish off with this. It's night 1 of 4. It's a long week. What's the most important thing you can pick up on night 1? What kind of feel are you looking for on night 1?
Yeah, I feel like you know it as soon as you hot lap. You see guys in these week-long races where if they don't really start out good, it's a struggle all week long, and guys that start out fast are fast all week long. So as much time as you hit on the racetrack, there's really not much time to fix your race car because every time you're out there, you're competing and trying to get points. So goal is to start out good and be fast all week.
Gio, thanks for joining us. Good luck this week.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Hot Sauce Giovani Scelzi as we wrap up our guest list today on the My Race Pass stage from Husets Speedway. Sean, tomorrow you're going to have the opportunity to be joined by the Hall of Famer John Gibson here on the My Race Pass stage, and you guys have a great guest lineup.
We certainly do. Chris Windham will join us, and then we'll have Garrett Williamson come on. Carson and Cole Macedo, that will be an interesting dynamic, and Connor Morrell. So we'll talk to several Rookie of the Year contenders tomorrow here on the My Race Pass stage, again, starting 5 o'clock local time until 6 o'clock. There's more here, too, Connor. We can't forget, after the races tonight, there'll be a band up here on the stage. Gallivant tonight, the Jeremy DeBall band the next 2 nights. So, again, the term we keep using, this is an event. We've got action from the afternoon all the way well past the races are done. So if the fans are watching right now and they haven't come to Husets Speedway yet, certainly a good time to make those weekend plans.
Yeah, if you're a couple hours away, it's worth a drive. If you're more than a couple hours away, there's an airport with the airport code FSD. It's about 20 minutes away that is calling your name. That wraps up our My Race Pass stage. DIRTVision's pre-race coverage of the preliminary night for the Husets Hustle is continuing. We're going to send things to a commercial break. After that, all the way back in Concord, North Carolina, into the Eastern Time Zone, Dave Reef is going to kick off pre-race coverage for the Husets Hustle from the studio.
Anything you can do, I can do better.
I'm faster than you. Yeah, well, I'm gnarlier than you. I get more sideways. I'm louder. Much louder. I get wilder than you. You sure about that, bro?
Harder.
Slicker.
Cooler. Tougher. Let's go.
So what you got?
I chose the Chasm system. A lot of the top drivers in the sport were using it, and being a father and all the back injuries happening, I felt like it's just extra insurance on keeping your back healthy and safe. Years ago, I broke and fractured my T5 vertebrae. Since then, I've always been on top of my safety stuff, but I think the Chasm is just the next layer of being on top of the safety.
June 20th and 21st, the legendary I-55 Federated Auto Parts Raceway transforms into the battleground for the World of Outlaws St. Louis Firecracker Face-Off. Witness the action as the World of Outlaws Real American Beer late models take on the Dirt Cars Summer National Late Models. Experience the thrill of the Extreme Outlaw Midget Series presented by Toyota. Grab your tickets now at worldofoutlaws.com.
If your answer to the summer heat is let it rain, we're looking for you. Join us at Toyota Racing.
You wanted the best, you got them for a rest. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt, the World of Outlaws.
The Outlaws are coming back to Deer Creek.
They'll race side by side out of corner number 4. Trying to take the lead. They'll go wheel to wheel to turn 3. Splitting cars in turns 3 and 4 and 3 wide. Trying to power back around. He'll have a run out of turn number 4. We've got a race for the lead out of turn 2.
Take a trip down Victory Lane. Come see the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars near you.
It's ARP Fasteners for whatever you race. From 2 wheels to 4. Off-road, on-road, even water. From the flat track to the salt flats. Grassroots racers, weekend warriors, and pros alike trust ARP. Made in America quality, family-owned and operated. When failure is not an option, it's ARP-bolts.com. No matter what you race.
your 2024 World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series champion, David Gravel.
Get all your official David Gravel merchandise at track or online at shopdgr.com.
Every lap, every race, every bit of paint traded for every hard-fought place. Every checkered flag and trophy raised. Every ounce of dirt, sweat, and gears. They're all jammed inside every can of NOS Energy. Go ahead, open up a can.
Real American beer, a brand new national treasure.
Hold on tight to the checkered flag with our huge selection of high-quality titanium fasteners. Quality you can see, strength you can test. We use heat-treated, certified aerospace billet material that's stronger than grade 8 steel, and all of our parts are American-made with American metal, by racers, for racers. From micro, midget, sprint, and IndyCar to top fuel, tractor pull, and more. Visit our website to configure a custom bolt kit for your car, and we'll ship it to you in labeled bags. Smith Titanium. We winnovate.
DIRTVision presents World of Outlaws, NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars, the pinnacle of dirt track racing. Featuring sprint car racing's best drivers, biggest races.
David Gravel is the King's Royal Champion. Slide up in front of Kofoid, and at the line, Kofoid gets the win.
And best coverage.
Welcome back to the greatest show on dirt.
You wanted the best. You got them four abreast.
DIRTVision is home to the greatest shows on dirt.
When it comes to high-dollar drama, Husets Speedway and the World of Outlaws walk in lockstep. In 2022, Sheldon Haudenschild shocked the world, passing 5 cars in the final 5 laps for a cool $250,000.
Haudenschild third to first in one set of turns.
Sheldon Haudenschild wins $100,000.
Then last September, after being denied a sure win 1 year earlier due to mechanical misfortune, Michael Kofoid found a 6-figure redemption coming to the checkered flag.
Macedo looks to the inside. He'll slide up in front of Kofoid, and at the line, Kofoid gets the win. Full wing dance, helmet still on and everything. Buddy Kofoid.
I can't even think right now with all this going on, but no, I'm glad we just won this race. Get redemption from last year. I'm so blessed to be driving this car. I owe it all to Dennis Reeseroth, Mobile One, Toyota, Todd Ventura, Andy Graves, Shaggy, everyone that believes in this program, and me. I can't thank them enough. Kind of at a loss for words.
And that brings us to tonight, as the bank is open once again, as the best sprint car drivers in the world have converged on the 3/8 mile High Bank Huset Speedway in Brandon, South Dakota for 4 days of major money up for grabs. First up, it's the 2-day stay and play known as the Husets Hustle. $1,500 to start tonight. The winner's share is $20K. That sets the stage for the $100,000 to win main event tomorrow night. And that's just the start of a 4-race weekend with more than $800,000 of purse money up for grabs. As we welcome you to the DIRTVision pre-race from our Concord, North Carolina studio. Good evening, everybody. My name is Dave Reef. And just like Buddy Kofoid's win from a year ago, Husets Speedway is like a phoenix that has risen from the ashes. The 4th edition of the High Banks, it's the 2nd of the Husets Hustle. What was once a farm field till Huset decided racing would be a better bumper crop than corn or soybeans back in 1953. But the yields were on and off as the track, also once known as Badlands Motor Speedway, went through 2 closures before Todd Quiring purchased the track 5 years ago. Ever since, Husets Speedway brings with it a rich, rich history, pun intended. as it is now a fixture year in and year out on the World of Outlaw Series. Geographically positioned perfectly within the Jackson Motorplex as well as the Knoxville Raceway, the future of 410 racing in the Midwest, that is, shines very, very brightly. And speaking of Knoxville, last weekend the sprint car capital of the world hosted the series in the final tune-up for the Knoxville Nationals. And from a field of 64 cars on Friday night, the defending champion David Gravel came from the 8th starting position to pick up his 9th win of the season. One night later, he nearly converted another weekend sweep. Instead, the payday went to the other in the order of Corey.
Brad Sweet leads into turn one. Corey Day sails around the outside. He is up to second and stalking Sweet down the back straightaway.
Good battle for the lead. Corey Day goes to the top. Brad Sweet slides to the cushion. Then Ryan Timms in third. Battle for fourth now. Aaron Reitzel battling with Bill Balog and Sheldon Haudenschild. A 3-car battle in turn number one.
Now the race for second. Ryan Timms to the inside of Corey Day. Slides up to the cushion. Out of turn number 4, move Ryan Timms up to second. David Gravel now up into the 4th spot. Meanwhile, side by side for second once again, Corey Day and Ryan Timms. Day back to second as they reach the midpoint of the back straightaway. Top 3 getting closer together as they reach turn number 3, and here comes the 14 BC.
You've got a new leader in turn number 4. Corey Day to the top spot, but here comes Brad Sweet back to the inside. Down the first straightaway, battling for the lead. Corey Day takes it away. Here comes Ryan Timms now closing in. Corey Day will lead him down the back straightaway. Here comes Ryan Timms to the inside of Brad Sweet for second. He'll take the spot entering turn 3. Sweet right behind him to the cushion goes Timms to hold him back.
David Gravel gets by Brad Sweet. Now Gravel up to the 3rd spot.
David Gravel has found something here late in the going. Looks to the inside of Timms, who's on the high side. Now Gravel using the inside of turn 2. He'll power by him on the inside.
Sweet to the inside in turn number 4. Gets by Ryan Timms, the big cat back to 3rd. Timms looks to his inside entering turn 1.
Here comes Buddy Kofoid. He'll join those two in turn number 2 now. Kofoid to the inside of Sweet, then 3 wide down the back straightaway.
Buddy Kofoid now to 3rd in car number 83 with 7 laps remaining.
Final time to turns 1 and 2 down the back straightaway. Corey Day bobbles. Here comes David Gravel. Your race is going to be for the lead. Coming to the checkers. Gravel to the inside of 3 and 4.
Slide job attempted 3 and 4. No, can't get to the cushion. Corey Day will hang on for the victory, and David Gravel will finish second.
You know, I didn't want to be the guy to drop down to the bottom and then get circled because, you know, once I kill my momentum, it's really, really hard to pass someone back. Then if you get passed on the bottom, you can, you know, maybe drive back around them. So, yeah, glad it worked out. I hate that he got that close. I don't like to, you know, I don't like to make him close at all. I like to win him by a lot. So we'll work on that one for the Nationals. But, you know, hats off to Wayne Pretty, man. I destroyed our good car at Eagle, and it's been a work in progress with this one. And, you know, to get it this close to win an Outlaw race in Knoxville in such a short amount of time is, you know, something to be really proud of.
A popular win. It was the 3rd Outlaws win of Corey's career as David Gravel's lead in the series standings grows to 174. And that is the last you'll hear about those series points this weekend. So they're off the table this weekend. It's all about cashing in. So that begs the question, who is hot? Several drivers in the field tonight have seen good performances as of late. Joining the obvious David Gravel, boy, it sure felt like the big cat never left when Brad Sweet won with the Outlaws at Beaver Dam. You got to put Plymouth winner fellow Californian Rico Abreu on this list as well. Buddy Kofoid enters with $55,000 of momentum after his Tuesday high-limit score at Eagle. And then there's Chase Randall. He is the Husets Speedway most recent 410 winner. But let's face it, is there anyone with more confidence right now than the defending World of Outlaws champion David Gravel? You can make the argument, but if you're going strictly on numbers alone, you can't deny the driver that leads the nation in 410 sprint car wins. And if you extrapolate his statistics beyond the 9 wins, you will find that the 2 team has only finished outside the top 10 once in 32 Outlaws races, running inside the top 5 at an 85% clip on the season. Last weekend alone, he found the top step on Friday and then followed it up with the runner-up position at Knoxville on Saturday. Well, this weekend, they will want to keep it up for their boss, Todd Quiring, who owns both the team and the track they're racing at. You know, it was no issue for Gravel and Company 2 years ago when the winner's share rose to $250,000, so don't expect it to become one this weekend. A winner in another pair of World of Outlaws events brings his Husets total to 3 in 30 attempts. and as well as the team has been running in the last half dozen years, well, it's a safe bet that his top 5s, top 10s, and average finish all go up for a driver not lacking for anything.
Yeah, we have a lot of confidence right now. It's been a strong year, start to finish so far. So, yeah, Knoxville went great. When we were there earlier in the year, it went decent, but went really, really good this go around. So, excited for 4 days at Husets. Weather looks like it's going to be great all week long. Running 4 days in a row at the same racetrack is not easy, but it's a lot easier than bouncing around racetracks. So that part's good, and having our home base right here is obviously awesome as well. But points, you know, every time you hit the racetrack, you're gonna have to qualify good and then pass race cars in the heat. So tonight's just as important as any night, and you know, it's gonna be a cool event to kick off. And we kind of have a game plan going into this week, and I think it's a good game plan, and excited for the challenge. But at the end of the day, you got to pass in these heat races. If you don't pass in your heat races, you're going to start 16th or 18th like I did about every night last time. So I'm looking forward to it, and yeah, we're confident.
And that is David Gravel, the tip of the spear. But that is all we have touched so far as we build toward tonight's event. As we take a quick pit stop, we will return with a look at this unique format, a look at who's in the lineup tonight as we chat with DIRTVision pit reporter extraordinaire, Connor Wade.
This copyrighted DIRTVision broadcast may not be retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or distributed in any form without World Racing Group's written consent. Copyright infringement is a federal crime.
Looking for a refreshing change? Say goodbye to sluggish performance and reach for the one that won't slow you down.
That's crisp.
Experience the force of clean, pure oil coursing through your engine. No matter what you drive, Wix Filters is the clear choice. Here's to filtration that works as hard as you do. Wix Premium Filters. Performance starts here.
There's a moment behind the wheel of what I've built, where power overrides gravity, and I hit that zero moment. Zero doubts, zero fear, zero competition. No rule or mold I can't break. And limits, absolutely zero. And there's a NOS zero sugar to get me there.
Racing is tough. It's not a sport for the weak, and the winning desire has to flow through your veins. Established in 1993 and only stocking top-rated manufacturers is why BR Motorsports is your one-stop shop when it comes to your sprint car and midget needs. Call us today at 1-800-328-3333 and talk to racers to get the right parts you need when you need them. BR Motorsports, the leaders in sprint car parts technology.
Named after one of the city's co-founders, whose name, interestingly enough, is last name Vermont. Welcome back to Brandon, South Dakota, and our coverage of the Husets High Bank Nationals weekend, starting with, of course, the Husets Hustle. Countdown to the $20,000 to win race is continuing right now. But while major money is, of course, the headline of the next 4 nights of racing, the path to that cash is very unique. It's one that will require inverts and points. That's the name of the game. With the car count expected to hover at or above 60 entries, here are the deets, the 411, the pirate map to all of that booty. All competitors will draw and qualify into one of 2 groups that will generate 6 heat races. Group 1 will consist of cars qualifying in heats 1 through 3. Group B, machines making up heats 4 through 6. In point speak, the award is 100 points and drops by 1 per position in qualifying. The invert for the half-dozen prelim races is set at a stout 6, with another 100 points awarded to the winner, but this time they fall by 3 points per position to third, down by 5 after that. From there, the top 10 in combined qualifying and heat points are feature-bound. The top 4 points in each group will redraw to figure out the first 8 starting positions in the feature. Beyond that, lined up by points, still there's a C feature, potentially 2, that will transfer only 2 into the Last Chance Showdown. Top 4 of the LCS tag the tail of the feature, where more points are awarded. Are you still with me? Do not worry. We, of course, will do all of that math for you. But not only is this a big field that will be vying for all of these points, it's a star-studded one as well. At least 9 of the full-time Outlaws entered all have Husets win. Beyond that, well, there are a pair of NASCAR stars in the field for at least a couple nights, as Kyle Larson is here with Paul Silva. Christopher Bell will be piloting the Kreitz Racing 69K. Staying in the Pennsylvania state, Anthony Macri is having another solid year. The nation's 3rd winningest 410 racer is on the property. He won a local race at Brandon a year ago, by the way. Toss in last year's Husets Hustle prelim winner Tyler Courtney, Brian Timms, Brian Brown, Kerry Matson, Tim Kading. I could go on and on and on, but chomping at the bit to talk to any and all of them is DIRTVision's Connor Wade, who now joins us from the track. And well, Connor, first and foremost, great to see you out in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. I got to believe you are as excited as I am to watch what unfolds. Of course, it's going to be happening right in your front doorstep.
Well, great to see and hear from you as well, Dave. Look, you can't come into this place and not at least somewhat remember what happened last year. 364 days ago, Husets Speedway was underwater, but Doug Johnson and Todd Queering and everybody at this great racetrack got the facility back going. We raced here last September, obviously in kind of an abbreviated High Bank Nationals week, but we're back to 4 nights and 2 6-figure paydays. What we expected this event to be last year is going to take place this weekend, and you know, a star-studded field, like you mentioned. 60 entries is the official count. They just concluded the driver's meeting at the command center behind me. 60 cars tonight, and it's full-time Outlaws. It's the best national dies. It's the best regional dies. Husets winners and Husets track champions. I was just looking at the sprint car ratings. Top 10 drivers in the country right now. 9 of the top 10, 12 of the top 15 are in the pit area at Husets. And with this unique format, you know, automatically that means we're going to see good race car drivers that you would not be surprised if we told you they won $100,000 or $250,000. We're going to see drivers like that have a high caliber in the B main. We're going to see some not even make the show. I think back to this very race last year. Kyle Larson, best race car driver in the world, didn't even make the feature on the first prelim night at Huset. So a star-studded field, and we're going to see some up and down out of all those stars.
Now, normally you got to wait almost to the King's Royal to start what was once the month of money, but now we have the months of money. Great car count in Knoxville, great prelim for what's coming to the Nationals. Most of those cars are in the pits tonight, but I got to ask you, probably the nicest day you're going to have. It's going to warm up. It's going to be pushing the triple-digit mark as far as feels like temperatures out there. How do you think that's going to be handled this weekend by these race car drivers?
Well, it's going to make things really tough. You know, guys are going to probably show up to the racetrack a little bit later. They're going to probably sit in the trailer a little bit more. Maybe they're not going to be, you know, out working on their cars or talking to their crews as much. They're going to try to soak up as much AC as possible. Guys like Bill Balog are going to be taking naps. And, you know, I wouldn't expect to see drivers out as much. You know, they're still going to go to the T-shirt trailers whenever they can. They're still going to be on our stage. But they're going to try to, you know, rest themselves and their bodies and their minds the best they can. You know, as far as the racetrack, that's really going to make things tricky. see. I have high expectations for the racetrack tonight. It rained a little bit for about 45 minutes lightly this afternoon. We saw the exact same thing happen this past Sunday, and that little bit of moisture from the rain early on in the day really helped the racetrack on Sunday night. We saw an incredible battle between Jack Dover and Chase Randall, and I think the rain we had this morning is going to have the same effect on the racetrack. Now, as for the racetrack, the rest of the week, it's going to be a lot different. They're not going to have that extra moisture that they get early in the day. The track's going to dry out really quick. It's going to get slick. They're going to do the best they can to keep it from laying rubber. But, I got to give the track crew here at Huset some credit. One of Todd Queering's sons himself is involved. Todd is actually pretty hands-on himself, even though he won't always admit it. They've really figured this racetrack out the last couple years. Sure, it lays rubber down every now and then, but not necessarily to the extent that you saw it do so 3-5 years ago. So, the racing we had here in September was really quality. So there's expectations that we're going to get more of that quality action and quality track surfaces all week long here in June.
And they did a great job getting that track back after that flood. We'll have some images of that coming up in just a little bit on our pre-race show. But let's get back to the star-studded field. Obviously a series that stands on its own with the merits of the drivers that do this full-time. But then you start adding guys like Kyle Larson. He's no stranger, but how cool is it to have a guy like Christopher Bell come back in such an iconic Pennsylvania-based race car and at least be a part of the show for a couple nights?
It is, and I know there's a lot of people out there wondering what Bell and Larson's schedules for the week look like. Of course, with their NASCAR obligations, NASCAR's at Pocono this weekend, which is in Pennsylvania. That's not an easy trip back and forth. Christopher Bell has stated his schedule publicly. He will only be in attendance tonight and tomorrow for the Husets Hustle, and we can confirm the same for Kyle Larson. They're typically a little bit more tight-lipped about Larson's schedule, just with how fluid it is, but we can confirm that as of now, the plan is for Christopher Bell and Kyle Larson both to only be here tonight and tomorrow night for the finale of the Husets Hustle. The 69K and the 57 cars themselves will also take the rest of the weekend off. So, as for Larson, he's a two-time Husets winner. All expectations are that he can bounce back from not making the show here last year, even though that team has struggled a little bit here as of late. Now, Christopher Bell in that Crate 69K is a really interesting case. The 69K's history here at Husets is pretty small. It was an August Sunday all the way back in 1993, 11 years before I was born. Dave, I don't know what you were doing in 1993, but after the Knoxville Nationals in 93, Donnie Kreitz drove up to Husets and got the win. We believe that's the only time the 69K has ever raced here at Husets. Only record we can find. Christopher Bell himself has never raced here. However, as we talked to him earlier today, it's a challenge that he's excited for.
I'm super excited about it. Husets has been a place that, number one, I got my first memories from playing the World of Outlaw game, as I'm sure a lot of us kids did. So love this place on the game. Watched a ton of videos, ton of races throughout the years here. Never got to run here until today, but I'm excited about it. It's a historic track and a place that I've certainly wanted to come for a while. Yeah, just definitely watching how the track progresses from qualifying, what lines are typically good. We'll see how it goes, but I'm excited to go to a new track, and this is, like I said, a historic place and a place that I've been looking forward to racing for a while. You got to be good right away. Taking points from qualifying in the heat race, we don't really have much time to be learning, so hopefully we have pace, and yeah, we can go out there, lay a good qualifying lap down. Unique thing about this event is the invert. So, I don't know. I think there's a sweet spot of where you want to qualify to be, maybe in that second row of the heat race. So we'll see what happens.
So it's excited to see Christopher Bell make his Husets Speedway debut here this evening, Dave. I don't think there's any concern about if Christopher Bell is going to be able to figure Husets out quickly and get around it. There have been some people talking about, is the 69K going to be able to roll good at Husets? And I'm going to actually offer a contradiction to what a lot of people are saying. Sure, this racetrack is not big like the tracks we see the 69K roll at, but if you think of what the surface is like itself, it's slow and slick, kind of like a Port Royal gets, kind of like a Volusia gets. So Husets is not similar to those racetracks at all in terms of size, but in terms of the actual surface that you see, slow and slick with a good bottom. If that's the case, I think Christopher Bell would have something with that 69K car for these guys.
Well, thank you very much for all of that insight. We will be back with Connor Wade when we continue our pre-race coverage from the track in just a little bit, but great stuff as always from Connor Wade. But right now it's time for another quick station break. But when pre-race from the Husets Hustle, that is, rolls on, well, we will go back to what happened here 1 year ago, a devastating situation that was followed by a triumphant rising. Plus, we'll hear from inaugural High Banks Nationals winner Sheldon Haudenschild and the 2024 big banker Buddy Kofoid, and get their thoughts on what it will take to cash the check again this weekend.
Hold on tight to the checkered flag with our huge selection of high-quality titanium fasteners. Quality you can see, strength you can test. We use heat-treated, certified aerospace billet material that's stronger than grade 8 steel, and all of our parts are American-made with American metal, by racers, for racers. From micro, midget, sprint, and IndyCar to top fuel, tractor pull, and more. Visit our website to configure a custom bolt kit for your car, and we'll ship it to you in labeled bags. Smith Titanium. We winnovate.
Every lap, every race, every bit of paint traded for every hard-fought place. Every checkered flag and trophy raised. Every ounce of dirt, sweat, and gears. They're all jammed inside every can of NOS Energy. Go ahead, open up a can.
Ready to rise? To the challenge? Above obstacles. Yes! Above perceptions.
Ruttiger, implement the pass on the top lane.
Above it all.
Let's go!
If so, we're looking for you. Join us at Toyota Racing.
Back at Husets Speedway, where the forecast for the next 4 days includes lots of heat. Upper 90s on the way by the weekend, but with little chance for rain. Well, that is good news for the nearby Split Rock Creek. Back here in our Charlotte, North Carolina studios, I'm sure we've all heard the proverbial expression, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. Well, expressed over time in varying words, the first known print use attributed to writer Elbert Hubbard in 1909 is even more eloquent. A genius is a man who takes lemons that fate hands him and starts a lemonade stand with them. Well, 1 year ago, there were plenty of lemons to go around as an already saturated grounds combined with several inches of overnight rain overflowing Split Rock Creek to create these images that, quite frankly, are still difficult to process. But thanks to the support of local first responders and, of course, all the local neighbors surrounding Huset Speedway, what could have been a lot worse, well, fortunately wasn't. Credit also goes to the Husets Speedway staff. They quickly assessed and corrected the damage caused by these floodwaters and brought the Husets High Bank Nationals event back later that year in September. But you know, all of that flooding began in the overnight hours following the opening night of the Husets Hustle that started with plenty of sunshine, the nickname of Tyler Courtney. Locked in a fierce battle with his NOS Energy teammate Sheldon Haudenschild, Courtney continued to close on the bottom while Hod held the top. A right rear tire going down finally went away on lap 17. It blew just one lap after the driver of the 7BC took the lead, going on to take the $20,000 first place prize. Unfortunately for the aforementioned flood, the rest of the weekend was swept away, but sunshine did at least pick up a June win at the Husets Speedway. Well, if you haven't noticed, Sheldon Haudenschild is a name that has come up quite a bit already. And based on the layout of the Husets Speedway track, high banks producing high speeds, you can expect to continue to hear the name of the Worcester, Ohio driver, because let's face it, this is a track that suits him to a T. The only driver to win both of the prestigious events, the first ever High Bank Nationals and the defending Husets Hustle winner, Sheldon is the only driver that can make such a claim. And while the first to win either of them for a second time, just for the fame, is probably not high on his list, he will be on the gas with momentum on his side based on his record at third-mile racetracks or smaller over the last month. A pair of wins, 7 top 5s, a perfect 11 for 11. What is even more telling is the fact that the NAS Energy car moves forward in these features, nearly a 3-position improvement from start to finish. Still with a lot of runways, though, left in his career, the 31-year-old continues to soar to new heights. Still on the edge, but perhaps with a little more perspective.
Yeah, it's always cool to win the first of something, and especially an event like this that they're building, and the first big paying race that I got to win, and did it in pretty good fashion too. So something that I think will be pretty special for the years to come. I've been pretty smart here, and just racking up good finishes, and putting ourselves in a position to win. And I've been looking at this week here to try and make some money, and not a points week, but kind of still points racing to get lined up for these big races. So I think our mentality's good, and kind of our game plan going into these races have been good. I don't mind the points racing. I think the inverts and the heats are cool, and it makes you work for it. So we've had some pretty exciting heat races here in the past with the inverts. So try and be a little less drama, but still get it done.
And it wasn't that long ago, or so it seems, that Sheldon Haudenschild was playing the role that, Buddy Kofoid does today. Fearless, aggressive, able to race where others won't. And as good as Sheldon's numbers are at short tracks, it is the proving grounds of California, also on the shorter side, that has already given Buddy a leg up on the edge of superstardom. A career that could have easily gone pavement. How lucky are we to have such a talented racer competing with the world of Outlaws? Another attribute that endears him to competitors and fans alike is his even-keel nature when things do not go his way. Not one to dwell on what could have been, was always looking ahead, especially last year when he decidedly dealt with Carson Macedo's last lap of path attempt to redeem himself from mechanical misfortune from the year earlier. And that is just part of an incredible career Huset's track record. A pair of Outlaw wins to go along with 2 midget triumphs gives him 4. With 14 top 5 finishes and 19 starts, Michael moves forward by at least 1 position on average from start to finish. A strong start tonight. It would not be a surprise to see him score a couple more W's over the next 4 nights.
For whatever reason, it just clicked for me, and I feel like any car I've ran, I've just been really comfortable here and can find speed, and especially with Dylan and Roth, we just have a really good package, and probably one of the most confident places I feel like, in my wheelhouse. So just enjoy it. I just feel like it always races really well, and I just, for some reason, feel like I can read the track, or I can tell what it's gonna do, and kind of know when to expect it, now, even though I haven't ran here all that much, and know how to make speed in other places that I feel like has helped me, be fast here. So right now I don't feel really any pressure yet. I think I will when we get closer to like drivers meeting time. That's kind of always when I normally feel something. But I feel like we do have a good chance, and we've had good speed here in the past. So I think that does add to it a little bit. But I'm just really, more than anything, just excited to be back here, racing at the same place. Even when we go to some 2-day shows at the same place, I feel like there's times where, even like last year, for example, we've been far and above better the second day versus the first day somewhere for running a 2-day show, and you have twice as much of that here just in this week at a place that's usually been good for us. So I feel like if we can get our car, good, and if I can get myself going in the right direction tonight, hopefully it just snowballs in a good way, the next 3 nights after that, just because you have even more time. So this is one of my favorite tracks, so I don't mind the extra 2 days that we normally wouldn't have.
All the action tonight, of course, taking place at Husets Speedway, one of the member tracks in the DIRTVision family. Action each and every Sunday night right here on the platform. A track that will bring plenty of its own talent, too, that could make things fun. And we will have a discussion with Sean Neistat about that when we return to the DIRTVision studio.
There's a moment behind the wheel of what I've built, where power overrides gravity, and I hit that 0 moment. 0 doubts, 0 fear, 0 competition. No rule or mold I can't break. And limits? Absolutely zero. And there's a NOS Zero sugar to get me there.
I think it's a very big deal that we have AMCUS, providing us with the AMCUS cutting tools throughout our series and World Racing Group. It's good that we were able to get a product in that's reliable and it does the job. If for some reason we had to cut a car apart or get access to a driver or a patient, we know that this tool here is definitely the one that we're going to work the best, get us in there quickly.
Dirt, grit, grime. Your truck, your toys, your weekend warriors. They take a beating and bring the dirt. Land that brings unstoppable cleaning power built to conquer any grime from the track to your garage. Built for the relentless, built for the outlaws. Clean what matters, be Wamda tough.
Dave Reef back at the DIRTVision studio. Just one more lap around the studio here before we get you out to the opening night of the Husets Hustle. But trust me, if you love to talk about race cars, there are very few select jobs in the world. Trust me, though, when I say that Husets Speedway is indeed one of those. And as the man Sean Neistat, that is the voice of the Speedway out there, and he joins us now to talk a little bit about what he sees coming our way tonight. You are the man that's on the scene watching each and every lap that goes on that unbelievable racetrack. When you get the Outlaws in town, when you get everybody from Pennsylvania, from California, all coming to the Husets High Bank Nationals, this race is turning into a spectacle. How do you see it?
Yeah, it really is, Dave. We've got 60 cars already checked in to do battle here for the first night of this Husets Hustle. And as you said, you've got the who's who from all across the country. And you've got to take a look at our local talent this year as well, because we have some drivers that are really coming into their own in their 410 sprint car racing careers. And one of those to highlight is certainly Caleb Johnson. And for him, he first entered a 410 sprint car here during a World of Outlaw show a handful of years ago, and he showed up and very openly admitted that he was only here to get his backside kicked, but he wanted to compete with the Outlaws. Now you fast forward, he's got that Husets Speedway championship from last season under his belt, and he come out this year in a fiery way with 3 consecutive wins. By the way, that first win on the opening night this year was his first career 410 sprint car win. So to back that up with 2 more victories over the next 2 weeks was something quite spectacular for him. We got an opportunity to talk with him on the My Race Pass stage just a few minutes ago, and he looked and sounded quite confident and ready to go, as ready as one can be, taking on the very, very best in sprint car racing.
So what do you think it is about Caleb Johnson? Because, I mean, we just saw the stats. Every race has been in the top 5 this year, obviously the first 3 wins of the year. Where do you think he's matured the most coming from last year to this year?
It's kind of backwards when you talk about drivers who are young. Typically, they're aggressive and sometimes overly aggressive. For Caleb Johnson, we watched him last season really get into a points race mentality early on in the year. He's come out this season far more aggressive than we've seen him in the 410 sprint cars at any other point in his career. And I think that is part to do just wanting to get into the win column and not necessarily run for those top fives, although he hasn't been out of the top five here at Huset Speedway yet this season. So I think it's been an opportunity for him to come out, be aggressive, dice it up, take a few chances, and for that, so far, it has paid off. The other side of that is teaming up with Team DGRD and Dennis Gainey, Dennis Moore Jr. turning some wrenches for them. They've really hit on a fantastic package here at Huset Speedway that has put them right onto the speedway, right out of the gate with a lot of speed. Another driver that's had a ton of speed unloading here right away in 2025, not just at Huset Speedway, but all across the Midwest, has been Ryan Timms. He picked up 2 consecutive victories here, teamed up with Shane Liebig from the Black Hills of South Dakota, and the speed we saw this past weekend out of Ryan Timms, not necessarily here at Huset's coming off the back-to-back victories, but his run with the World of Outlaws Saturday night at the Knoxville Raceway was quite impressive. Got up there, diced it up, looked for the lead a couple of times. This could be quite a breakout weekend, if you could say that about such a star like Ryan Timms. He first showed up here at Huset Speedway as a 15-year-old and nearly won on that opening night before getting over the cushion in turn 3 and getting into the wall. He came back the next time and did go to victory lane. That Shane Liebig-owned team from 6 hours away here in South Dakota, they're going to be one to watch this weekend as well.
So we've talked about Caleb Johnson. We've talked about Ryan Timms. What do they both have in common? They're young. They're probably so young. We say this as we get older, but these kids don't even understand how difficult this is supposed to be. I don't know what it is that allows them to get into these race cars and do the things that they do, but they don't even realize the situations they're in, because I certainly would not have been in that position at that age. Would you have been?
No way, or at this age either, Dave. There's not an opportunity, but I think sometimes there's a beauty in what you don't know out there. And so when these drivers come in and they're in the early stages of their careers and they don't know that they shouldn't run the cushion that hard or go up by the wall that hard or be that aggressive in traffic, sometimes it pays off. And I think in the case of Ryan Timms on these bull rings, like we have here at Huset Speedway, I think that's paid dividends for him. So, for the young drivers like that, what they don't know sometimes can't hurt them.
Well, let's go ahead and talk about a racing veteran that, as we started to pour through the stats, both at Huset's and around the country, Kerry Madsen is a name that graces victory lanes across the country. I was shocked, I assume you as well, to learn that he has never done that at the Husets Speedway. His brother has, but not Kerry, not the madman. Why do you think that is?
Bad luck. Lots of it, way too much of it, for certain. Absolutely, I agree with you. When I was looking through the Huset's record book and updating stats and doing all the things I do behind the scenes, and I got to Kerry Madsen, I put his name into the record book, didn't show up. And I went, oh, certainly, this is an error. It's got to be in here. Checked it again, checked it again, checked it again, checked other resources. No, not there. Tons of top 5 finishes, even more second place runs, but never to victory lane here at Huset Speedway. A lot of those, bad luck. He's been leading. We've seen him lead and get upside down in the same race and take him out of contention. And that's not something that we have seen out of the career of Kerry Madsen, whether it be here in the States or back home in Australia, where he was winning his Australian titles. You just don't see that kind of misfortune for him. But here at Huset Speedway and somewhat at Knoxville the last year, just a whole lot of bad luck. But look at the speed they're starting to show now. That Vermeer Motorsports team, I think they're really starting to come together. Doug Rankin turning the wrenches for Kerry Madsen. They have certainly gelled as a team, and they've had a lot of speed here on the racetrack, not only here at Huset Speedway, but podium runs with the World of Outlaws, nearly winning with the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series against the star-studded field at the Knoxville Raceway. If they can pull that momentum forward across the calendar and bring it right here to Huset's onto the high banks and onto the bull ring, maybe, just maybe, Kerry Madsen puts his name into that Huset Speedway record book and does so in a big time fashion.
How cool would that be, especially for us older people that have been watching Kerry Madsen for a number of years. So we'll put him in the dark horse category, but you're a guy with a finger on the pulse of this whole deal. You watch everything that's going on with the World of Outlaws. You have your finger on, obviously, the pulse of Husets. You know what's going on Knoxville. We have an incredibly talented field here. So how do you handicap a night like tonight when you've got such powerful outlaws? The NASCAR stars that we talked to Connor Wade a little bit ago, and of course your local talent, which is too young to know any better. Why not throw it in there? How do you handicap tonight?
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's why we're going to tune in, and that's why we're going to have a great turnout in the crowd here tonight. How do you pick a favorite? How do you look at the stats over the last couple of years? You were just talking about Sheldon Haudenschild. Yeah, he's got a great chance to win here, but so does the two of David Gravel. Giovani Scelzi's won here before. And then you talk about the NASCAR contingent in the house. So that's why you buy the tickets, right? That's why we're all going to turn out, and that's why I really am in love with the format of the week and the talented field that we have. We've been talking all season long on the Sunday night shows here on DIRTVision from Husets Speedway about the talent and depth of the field in the 410 class here at Husets. This weekend, we just turned that burner all the way up to the highest heat level it could possibly be at, 60 entries, and there's a whole bunch of them that could be cashing some really big checks here over the next several days.
And that, of course, is a far cry from where we were a year ago. It's still incredible, those images we showed them earlier on the show here. How was that community getting by with everything that went on a year ago?
You know, fortunately for Brandon, South Dakota, the river's really on the other side of the highway here that the racetrack is at, or the Split Rock Creek, I should say. So the flooding in town really was minimal, if at all. It was really the brunt was farmland and the racetrack. We still have some communities in our area that are dealing with a lot of the long-lasting effects from the flooding. Rock Rapids, Iowa still has a lot going on down there. They were able to get their racetrack reopened. Spencer, Iowa still has a lot to do in their road of recovery. But fortunately for the community of Brandon and here at Husets Speedway, things are back up, looking great. This place has never looked better. And for the fans, if they're out there within a couple of hours and they can get here to Husets Speedway and they don't have their tickets yet, you've got to get over here. I mean, this place is primed up, ready to go. And I mean, what more could you need? Is 2 six-figure paydays coming in. The biggest names in racing are all right here in our community. Brandon, South Dakota for the next 4 days is the epicenter of the sprint car racing world. And for a local guy like me that lives like 4 minutes down the road, this is a pretty cool, almost surreal time to be here.
I will look forward to hearing it all as you are teamed with the Hall of Famer, John Gibson, tonight. Thank you, of course, for all the local insight and, of course, all of the local knowledge after everything that happened last year. That is Sean Neistat, who is, of course, the weekly voice of the Husets Speedway, who is going to be joining up to the booth as it's time to get him up there as we hustle things around. The DIRTVision pre-race studio show is set to be done right now. When we come back after this quick commercial break, we'll have you out to the racetrack. All the action getting ready to come your way. So go ahead, grab a real American beer, pop a squat, get ready for the greatest show on dirt. The first of 4 nights, it is time for night number 1 of the Husets Hustle when we come back on DIRTVision.
It's ARP Fasteners for whatever you race. From 2 wheels to 4. Off-road, on-road, even water. From the flat track to the salt flats. Grassroots racers, weekend warriors, and pros alike trust ARP. Made in America quality, family owned and operated. When failure is not an option, it's ARP-bolts.com. No matter what you race.
If this is your idea of ladylike, you're gonna fit right in. Join us at Toyota Racing.
DIRTVision would like to thank our friends at Elliott's Custom Trailers and Carts for helping us get from track to track.
it was just a no-brainer for me. I felt like over the years there's been so many back injuries and so many people getting hurt. Scott Kaufman and everybody at Chasm Racing Products have come up with a system that basically supports your back. It gives you that little bit of cushion that you need when you get in those wrecks with that downforce collision, and I feel like next level cutting edge technology that just helps us as drivers just be that little bit more safe. I'm thankful for everything that Chasm Safety Products has done, and I think that they're going to continue to innovate, and it's only going to get better and better for the future to come.
You wanted the best, you got them for abreast. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt, the world of Outlaw.
Every lap, every race, every bit of paint traded for every hard-fought place. Every checkered flag and trophy raised. Every ounce of dirt, sweat, and gears. They're all jammed inside every can of NOS Energy. Go ahead, open up a can.
The pit area is packed. The fans are getting amped up. Welcome to DIRTVision's at-track coverage of the preliminary night for the 2025 Husets Hustle. It kicks off the richest week in sprint car racing, 4 nights in a row at Husets Speedway, 2 six-figure paydays. Welcome to DIRTVision's at-track coverage. My name is Connor Wade, joining you once again. We've already heard from Dave Reef and Sean Neistat. We're going to hear from Sean and Hall of Famer John Gibson on the call of tonight's race here in just a little bit. We kick off our at-track coverage for you this evening by bringing you a bit of an update. I just was sending a couple texts back and forth with race director Doug Leonard for the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series, who confirmed to me hot laps for this evening have been pushed back 15 minutes to 7:15 p.m. Central Time. That's about 18 minutes from now, and the reason for that is to allow the track prep crew here at Husets Speedway to have some more time to work in the moisture that was put on the racetrack earlier this afternoon whenever we had a rain shower. It was a little bit before noon that lasted about 45 minutes, some light, consistent rain for about 45 minutes, as I said, here in Brandon, South Dakota. Track didn't dry quite as fast as the track crew expected it to, so it's going to take some time to pat the surface in a little bit. There's still some water on the racetrack, still some sloppy spots. We might see hot laps take a little bit longer to blow that off, but once that happens, we're set for a great night of racing at Husets Speedway. The weather conditions now, as we're just approaching hot laps, much different than they were earlier today. Look at this now, 74 degrees, no precipitation scheduled for the rest of the evening. A nice 6-mile-per-hour breeze cools it off just a little bit, and the sun has been out all afternoon assisting in that track drying process, I should say. So again, hot lap slated for 7:15 p.m. Central Time. That's about 17 minutes from now. Allows us a little extra time to break down some of the many storylines that we're going to watch tonight with the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series as we kick off this week, and get an idea of who is going to contend for the big money races we're going to have tomorrow and Saturday. We do have somewhat of an idea based off of the racing we've already seen at Husets this week. As always, they had a show this past Sunday night, and an incredible night of racing we saw that came down to the very last lap of the feature. Jacked over the Springfield, Nebraska native, going for his second career Husets win, but he was stopped by hard-charging Chase Randall, who had just raced at Knoxville the night before. His feature didn't start out incredible at Husets, but he was not going to be denied. Let's kick off our Wade's World this evening, hearing from the quickest chicken and how the momentum from Sunday's exciting win is going to get him in position to win some money this week.
Anytime you can get a win at a track you're coming back to, that gives huge confidence. And for me, I feel like I roll in here with high hopes anytime I can race here. It's one of my favorite tracks, and I think we have a great package every time we show up. So that makes me feel really good as a driver. The track and the style of it is just for me. I mean, it's right up my alley, kind of what I've really been good at my whole life, and I think that's kind of why it just suits me really well. And I find myself competing for wins quite often here, just as a driver, in anything I get in. Yeah, if I did one or two things different, it could have turned out another way, but it's something I've definitely learned from, and I think can help me towards the future. And I talked to some of my good friends, and I paid my dues, I feel like, so that first win's coming really soon, I feel like, and it's a good chance for this weekend.
It was the preliminary night for the 2024 High Bank Nationals that was held last September when Randall, in a last-minute ride, led laps with the World of Outlaws NASCAR Engineering Sprint Car Series and brought home his first career podium with the greatest show on dirt. He's back in the family-owned number 9 that he is most comfortable in and primed to potentially grab that first Outlaw win here this week at Husets. It could be tonight to kick off this 4-day week, so keep your eyes on the quickest chicken chasing some big money against the best drivers in all of sprint car racing. So it is the richest week in sprint car racing. Let's break it down for you tonight. The prelim for the Husets Hustle. It pays $20,000 to win. Tomorrow night is the Husets Hustle. It pays $100,000 to win. We'll completely reset after 2 days. Start over on Friday with another $20,000 to win prelim for the High Bank Nationals finale, which is on Saturday and pays an incredible $250,000. It's only been a handful of times in the history of sprint car racing that we've seen 2 six-figure paying sprint car races in the same week at the same racetrack. It was supposed to happen in 2024. We've talked several times on the show about how that turned out, but we're back, weather not being a factor in 2025. It's gonna happen this week. $100,000 to win tomorrow night, $250,000, $250,000 gonna be handed out on Saturday, and it would not be possible without the passion and dedication from not only the World of Outlaws NASCAR Engineering Sprint Car Series, but Todd Quiring, who purchased Husets Speedway in 2020. That, along with his Big Day Motorsports operation and championship winning team of David Gravel, Todd has accomplished just about everything there is to accomplish in this industry, including winning his first race that paid $250,000 in 2023 with David Gravel. We talked to Todd, who's worked very hard to bring the Outlaws and this event to life, about what it means to have this event ready to go this week.
You know, I think it's great for the drivers and the fans. If you can't make it all the nights, you can come Thursday night and we're $100,000. You can come Saturday night for $250,000. It just makes it an event more so than just not only just a race. We're going to put more seats in here, and you know, we might want to add a concert venue to this, and just some different things like that. We want to, you know, I think we've done a good job. Our guys have of building a great foundation, and it gets better every year. I can already see, you know, our ticket sales are increasing, and that's just what we want to see. Just grow this event to be one of the premier in the country. I just think a good week of racing and weather, and we know it's going to be an exciting race, and it's Husets Speedway. This dirt isn't easy to work on, but I think they have a lot of moisture in it right now. It'll be a challenge. We'll have to leave a little loose dirt on it, I think, for when it gets to be 95 degrees and 30-mile-an-hour winds, but they'll make it happen.
Todd Quiring continues to attribute so much to Husets Speedway and sprint car racing. Excited to see what he and Doug Johnson and the entire team here at Husets Speedway have in store for us over the next 4 days. Of course, one of the biggest things they're focusing on right now is track prep with the unexpected weather that hit this morning, and how they're going to keep this racetrack, keep moisture in this racetrack as the week goes on. 90 and 100-degree temperatures expected later on in the week. We're going to cover all of those storylines and plenty more on DIRTVision. Something else we're going to cover on DIRTVision is the very unique format that we see in play for this High Bank Nationals week. Now, of course, with us having 2 separate races, the format is different for the 2 separate events. So tonight and tomorrow night are combined. We then start over with a brand new slate and a new format on Friday and Saturday. And the format is a lot different than the weekly show at Husets or the nightly format that we see used with the World of Outlaws NASCAR Engineering Sprint Car Series. Dave Reef has already broken it down once in the studio. Johnny and Sean are going to talk about it. But let's remind you real quick to wrap up our Wade's World pre-race coverage of what this format looks like for tonight. There's 60 cars in the pit area. We're not going to call them flights in qualifying tonight. We're going to call them groups. 30 cars in Group A, 30 cars in Group B. The cars in Group A are going to be heat races 1 through 3. The cars in Group B are going to be heat races 4 through 6. Qualifying, as always, is going to line up heat races, however, with a twist. Typically, whoever sets fast time starts on the pole of the first heat race with no invert. That's what's different. Quick time is then going to start 6th in the heat race, so there'll be 18 cars in each group of qualifying that is inverted, and the fastest qualifier in each heat race is going to start in 6th. What that then presents them with the opportunity to do is pass cars and gain points for the position that they finish in their heat race. It makes the heat races really exciting. Drivers have to compete every single lap, and they cannot be content with finishing any position, because one position more means more points that they can carry through the night and really all weekend long. So some drivers like this format, some drivers hate it. What we can tell you, it puts on great racing, and when it comes to the feature winner, the cream always rises to the top. So The top 10 from each group after heat races are going to lock into tonight's feature event. So there's going to be 20 cars in total locked into the feature. The top 4 cars and points from each group are then going to redraw for tonight's feature. So there's going to be 8 drivers that redraw to set the starting lineup for the front 4 rows of tonight's feature. There is no Toyota Dash this evening. That redraw again directly affecting the feature starting lineup. Everybody outside the top 10 in their group is going to go to either a C-Main or a Last Chance Showdown. The top 2 from the C-Main is going to advance to the LCS. The top 4 from the LCS is going to advance to the feature. We will then have a 35-lap feature event with 24 cars. Drivers are also going to receive points for the position that they finish in their feature that is then going to line up heat races for tomorrow's finale. We're going to have the same format Friday and Saturday, just with a clean slate. So it's a really unique format. It's fun to pay attention to as far as points go. And again, every time a driver is on the racetrack tonight, they are dictating where they're going to start in heat race competition tomorrow with $100,000 on the line. Going to be really interesting to watch and see how it plays out. Remember, in 2025, you have a chance to win real money by wagering on the greatest show on dirt. Tonight's betting odds have Kyle Larson as the odds-on favorite. Larson with multiple trips to victory lane with the Outlaws this season. In a bit of a slump as of late when it comes to sprint car racing, he is the favorite at plus 352. David Ravel, 2023 High Bank Nationals winner at plus 593. How about Sheldon Haudenschild, last year's Huset's Hustle winner? He's at plus 1,606. Buddy Kofoid won $100,000 here last year, almost won $250,000 the year before that. He's at plus 1,068. Kofoid and Sheldon, particularly to me, if I was a betting man, are pretty interesting. So go to playdirtcar.com. You can have a chance to put some real cash in your pocket. Playdirtcar.com is going to help you find your favorite sports books and or daily fantasy options. So win some money, just like the drivers that are going to be putting a lot of money in their pockets here this evening. We're about 9 minutes away from hot laps. Track preparations are finishing up. Drivers are finishing up, taking a look at the racetrack through the crossover gate on the back straightaway and heading back to their cars to get prepared. So let's finish off our pre-race coverage tonight talking to the 2 voices that you're going to hear the most this weekend. Sean Neistat, the voice of Husets Speedway, calling all the action alongside the Hall of Fame voice of the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series, John Gibson. Gentlemen, it's Husets Week. It's become one of the most enjoyable and most looked forward to events and weeks in all of sprint car racing, and an incredible week with a lot of money on the line. Get started tonight.
Yeah, definitely so. Thank you so much, Connor. And again, a little bit of a delay here getting started, but we are about 8 minutes away from the first practice session. And Sean Neistat, what a field we have signed into the pit area here this evening.
Yeah, 60 total entries have checked in, and wow, what the star-studded field we have. And we've talked so much throughout the year about the depth of the 410 class here at Husets Speedway, and now with the best of the best from across the country coming in here, I have to say, John, this is probably the strongest field we have ever assembled for this week of racing.
Yeah, I would certainly agree with that. Again, the best sprint car drivers in the world are right here at the Husets Speedway. And one thing about Husets compared to some of the other marquee events in sprint car racing, things like the NOS Energy Drink Knoxville Nationals, the Kings Royal Williams Grove National Open, this race takes place on a very small racetrack, which means traffic is in play more often. It means things are a little more aggressive when it comes to drivers trying to make passes, and it's one of the things that we love about sprint car racing.
Yeah, that is exactly right, and that's why I love Husets Speedway, is because when somebody can break out and have a 2-3 second lead in some cases here, and as soon as the field gets into that traffic, gets into that dirty air that the drivers talk about, it's almost like running into a brick wall when they're out in that clean air, and then they catch the back of the field, and we see things change dramatically at that point here at the Speedway. So that's one of the very big things to watch all weekend long. Somebody might be very, very good right at the drop of the green in one of our feature events, but you have to be good in bad air. It's one way to put it. So we're going to watch that very carefully throughout the week, and I think whoever can get the balance of their car right for a couple of different scenarios. One, all by themselves on the racetrack, making the fastest lap they can for qualifying. But on the other side of that, it's got to be a good race car when surrounded by others.
And again, the format different from what we see weekly with the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series and here at the Husets Speedway. And basically, it forces drivers to be aggressive every time that they're on the racetrack. One of the consequences of this format is the fact that this entire week here at the Husets Speedway does not play into the World of Outlaws Championship chase. All the drivers get show-up points for their attendance here this weekend, but a driver doesn't have to worry about maybe trying to make something happen and missing on a slider or something like that to where it's going to cost them a bad night in the point standings. It's all about the money over the course of these next 4 days.
It's interesting you use the term consequence of the format because on the other side of that, we get to see the drivers take the gloves off and really go for it. We go back to the closing laps here last year with Buddy Kofoid having the lead and Carson Macedo coming after him with the biggest slide job I've ever seen here at Husets Speedway, and I've seen a few for a few years here. It started right at the Flyboy Donut sign on the back straightaway, and he sent it in there, made the pass, didn't stick. Kofoid sneaks back to the inside and goes on for the victory. That's the kind of action that Todd Quiring and his team want right here at Huset Speedway when they're putting the big money on the line. That's why they're bringing this this race and this format here with that kind of payout. And yeah, you can see there, the fans are already pretty excited in the stands.
No doubt about that. Now, one of the things that we will be talking about tonight and throughout the week, especially when it comes to Friday and Saturday, and the BillionAuto.com Husets High Bank Nationals presented by Menards, physical conditioning, because things are going to be tough on these drivers. It's going to get hotter the rest of the week, and they're talking about heat indexes of over 110 degrees and actual temperatures of 99 degrees here on Saturday.
I had a chance to talk to Giovani Scelzi about that just a while ago on the My Race Pass stage with Race Day Live presented by DIRTVision, and he said it is something to consider. It's something to think about. They do get a break from the heat. They get to go to their trailers. They go inside. Their trailers are air conditioned. But he also did warn that can get you too comfortable, and you need to stay out there acclimated with the conditions. So we're going to watch that throughout the week. There's quite a bit of wind expected later on in the week as well. We just heard Todd Quiring mention that. So a couple of different factors, and of course the temperature and the humidity, that's always a factor when how they set these cars up. So not just the drivers and the physical conditioning for them, but the crew members and the crew chiefs are going to have to consider that when they're tuning these race cars to go onto the speedway.
In addition to all the great action taking place on the racetrack here this weekend at the Husets Speedway, a lot of stuff going on off the track as well. And of course, a lot of that revolves around our fan experience zone located just outside the main entrance and the Be an Outlaw tent. And it is open from 3 o'clock on each day. We began the Be an Outlaw bingo earlier this afternoon. And, of course, we've got the gate giveaway, the Huset seat cushions to the first 100 fans in attendance tomorrow. Tomorrow is also the Throwback Thursday T-shirt contest. So if you've got some old school T-shirts, we encourage you to get them out and wear them here at Huset Speedway tomorrow. Also, the magnet hunt, 50 throwing slide job magnets hidden throughout the facility before the races. That's all tomorrow here, and a lot more things to tell you about all week long with the fan experience team from the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series.
Don't forget the stage after the racing action. Every single night there's live music outside of turn number 4 on the My Race Pass stage tonight. There'll be live music out there, and then, of course, Jeremy DeWall band's out there the next couple of nights. So every single night here at the Speedway tonight, will be, I just had it right here. Rock and Roll Damnation is on the stage right after the races. So it's going to be a great time, and that's exactly what this is now. This is an event, and we hope that you race fans can enjoy every minute of it.
First of 4 practice sessions for the first flight, Flight A of Honest Abe Roofing qualifying, now staging around the Speedway. And you can see on the camera right now on DIRTVision, the 10-time World of Outlaws champion from Fargo, North Dakota, driving the Advanced Auto Parts Curb Martin 1 Source number 15. That's Donnie Schatz.
Also staged on the front straightaway, the driver out of Ankeny, Iowa, and the C&D Elevator Construction, Hireview Enterprises, Heartland Steel, Tom Davis Automotive, car number 44, Chris Martin.
We'll keep it in the Martin family now with younger brother Cameron Martin out of Ankeny, Iowa, the C&D Elevator Construction, Hireview Enterprises, Heartland Steel, Tom Davis Automotive, number 4.
Also on the front straightaway from East Grand Forks, Minnesota, in the Proceed, Ekman Dental Arts, AgServe Consulting, Phil Thompson and Associates, JW Repair, car number G5, the Bandit, Gage Polkerbeck.
And the man leading the battle for the Kevin Gobrecht Award for Rookie of the Year honors with the World of Outlaws in 2025. From Canton, Illinois, driving the NOS Energy Drink King Racing Products, Jim Shooknet. High Performance Lubricants, Phillips and Tosco Developers, number 7S, that is Chris Wyndham.
And staged just behind him from Minden, Nevada, the Rod Gross Motorsports, JST Motorsports, Smith Titanium Maximo Oil, car number 88T, Tanner Thorson.
Another of the World of Outlaws Rookie of the Year contenders rolling into staging on the front stretch from Lemoore, California, aboard the 2C Racing Outlaw Wings Durst Wedge High Performance Carts, Kaiser Aluminum Wheels, number 2C, Cole Macedo.
Cars continue to pass through the Bam Bam Barbecue Sauce back gate on the center of the back straightaway here at Huset Speedway, with a gigantic field of cars getting set to make their way to the Gunderson Racing pit area for this opening night of the Huset's Hustle. Getting a look at the next driver out there on the speedway, a regular here at Sunday night action from Sioux Falls, the Northland Buildings Mintex Turbine Repair, AVA Window Coverings, GRP Motorsports Pro Aviation, car number 83 Junior, Sam Henderson.
The final drivers in the second, third, and fourth practice sessions, all of Flight A of Honest Abe Roofing qualifying, making their way into the infield. And now the push trucks begin to make their way onto the racing surface. They'll move into position. We are moments away from firing engines for practice session number 1. Sean, taking a look at the racetrack as it sits right now, certainly would not be surprised to see a few laps of slow wheel packing done before we wave the initial green flag, and also would expect to see a caution flag wave sometime there and allow them to do a little bit more wheel packing before we wrap up the first practice session.
Yeah, the track right now is certainly juiced up, and also something to point out, the very bottom maybe quarter of the racetrack has been left mostly untouched. It got tilled up here just a few minutes ago before the cars did roll trackside. Not an unfamiliar scene here at Huset's, particularly when the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series are in town. And heard some drivers talking about that, getting ready for this event, that they really like how they leave some extra moisture on the bottom side of the speedway to make sure that that track comes in, not just in heat races, but also to make sure that there's 2 lines when we get to feature event action later this evening.
Push trucks begin to move, engines begin to fire. Practice session number 1 for the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series. Drivers instructed to begin acceleration, and the green flag will wave on our opening practice session. And again, with the track being just a little juicy here, as Sean described, we don't expect to see track record-breaking lap times, but the lap times will continue to decrease as we work our way through the practice sessions this evening. Well, not that bad, actually. Donnie Schatz into the 11-second range at 11.884 seconds. Tanner Thorson at a 12.018. Schatz at the moment the only driver into the 11s. Caution flag will wave. Donnie Schatz, the fastest driver in the first portion of practice session number 1, the only driver into the 11s with an 11.884. Tanner Thorson second, quick 12.018. Sam Henderson third, Chris Windham fourth, and Cam Martin rounding out the top 5. And again, with some wheel packing taking place now, we look for the lap times to improve when we resume green flag action for practice session number 1. There are some occasions where we see those lap times improve by nearly a full second. A look at Cole Macedo in the 2C Racing car number 2C, Rookie of the Year contender, younger brother of Carson Macedo, currently 6th in this practice session. His best lap time, 12.534 seconds.
Looking at a green flag back out over the speedway. Cars begin to pick their pace back up, and a freshly painted white wall around Husets Speedway getting sprayed down and covered up with wet racetrack mud. We'll see what the lap times do. 11.884 the best again. That was by Donnie Schatz in the 15. And oddly enough, Johnny, not seeing a lot of movement in the speed here. Gage Polkerbeck just went faster than he did previously, but there's Tanner Thorson going quicker, second fast overall in the 88T at a 12.003. So interestingly enough, they're not seeing a lot of more speed there, so it sounds like this field is going to stay on the racing surface for just a bit longer.
Yeah, a little bit more wheel packing to take place, and then they'll go back under green flag conditions. Actually, we're going to push the drivers in session number 2 onto the speedway. So we'll allow group number 1 to continue to wheel pack along with the drivers in group number 2 as they roll onto the speedway. We see car number 39M. That is Anthony Macri. Macri out of Dillsburg, Pennsylvania, the Whitecap J&S Classic C&E Rigging, Randy Shearer Heating and Plumbing, number 39M.
Also on the speedway from Fresno, California, the Logan Contractor Supply, Ted's Body Shop, Team Excavating, BSM Enterprises, car number 18, Hot Sauce, Giovani Scelzi.
And from Grand Forks, North Dakota, the Alt Construction, Ewing Oil, Valley Tire, Development, Homes, Gaming, Rehammer Masonry, number 8H of Jade Hastings.
Making his way off of turn number 4 down the front straightaway from Worcester, Ohio, the NOS Energy Drink, West Tennessee Expediting, Frozen Farmer, Maxima Oil, car number 17, Sheldon Haudenschild.
And from Gympie, Queensland, Australia, in the Corbett's Group, Precision Well Service, Ike's Performance, number 25, Jai Corbett.
From Tempe, Arizona, the Lori Keogh, MP Environmental, Apache Transport, Chuck D's Wieners, Leinster Motorsports, car number 2X is Alex Pettis.
And from Glendale, Arizona, in the Pels Tire Service, RF Knox Company, Auto Barn, RSI Outdoors, Shark Racing number 1A, that is Ashton Torgerson.
Also from Kloop, Texas, the Power Plus, Volkins Brothers Trucking, STC Commercial Edge, Rasmussen Service Center, number 87, Aaron Reitzel.
Caution lights going out, getting set to wave the green flag on the second practice session.
Sheldon Haudenschild into the top 5. Now Ashton Torgerson replaces him. Then Jai Corbett into the top 5. 12.287. Now Aaron Reitzel second fast in the 11s. 11.958 for the driver of the 87.
So now 3 drivers in the 11-second bracket in warm-ups this evening. Checkered flag waving. Aaron Reitzel, fastest driver in group number 2. Second quickest overall at 11.958. So again, the second group will remain on the speedway doing wheel packing as we fire off the drivers in practice session at number 3. First out from Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, the Dahmer Powertrain, Subcon General Contractor, Telstar, Maximal Oil, Hobson Family, number 21H, that's the Macho Man, Brady Bacon.
3-time winner this season at Husets from Sioux Falls, the Hefty Brand Seed, Odson Underground, Fulkins Brothers Trucking, Blondie Motorsports, IDSP, car number 6K, Caleb Johnson.
And from Butterfield, Minnesota, the T&K Transport, Joel Pinion Trucking, Rock Street Tavern, Heartland Real Estate, Downs Food Group, number 23W, Scott Winters.
Current Outlaws points leader, defending series champion from Watertown, Connecticut, in thebillionauto.com, Huset Speedway, Jackson Motorplex, Prosper Real Estate Investments, JRC Transportation, car number 2, David Gravel.
And from Springfield, Nebraska, piloting the certified transmission, Carpetland, Estenson Racing, Mecum Auctions, Backlund Plumbing, number 53, Jack Dover.
From Lonsdale, Minnesota, in the Brody Racing Engines, GRP Motorsports, Engler Machine and Tool, Kaiser Racing Wheels, Hawk Wings by One Off Fabrication, car number 33, Scott Brody.
And the World of Outlaws Rookie of the Year contender from Bradenton, Florida, driving the Tubbets House, Amalie Oil, USA Steel Fence, Autoloads.com, number 28M, Connor Morrell. Group number 3, ready for practice with the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series opening night of the Husets Hustle.
We're up to full song in this third practice session. We'll see if anyone else joins that 11-second club. Donnie Schott showing the way, 11.884. Brady Bacon second fast, and now Caleb Johnson quickest, 11.808, and replaced by David Gravel.
Gravel has turned in 11.593, 3/10 of a second faster than anyone else in group number 1 so far.
Brady Bacon the third spot, 11.828. Jack Dover up to the 8th spot. So David Gravel now the quickest so far in practice here tonight. The number 2 car going a best lap of 11.593, followed in second by the 6K of Caleb Johnson, 11.808, and then Brady Bacon in the 21H at an 11.828.
Drivers in group number 1 are going to come back onto the speedway for another practice session. Again, we saw lap times mostly in the 12-second range when they were out there earlier. Want to give them a chance to see the track in conditions that a little more closely resemble what they will encounter during Honest Abe Roofing qualifying. So we'll get group number 1 back on the speedway for a quick green-white checkered practice session. Cameron Martin coming back out in car number 4. And as group number 1 rolls back onto the speedway, the Stenhouse Junior Marshall Racing 17 of Sheldon Haudenschild getting some attention from his crew as he prepares for Honest Abe Roofing qualifying.
See Tanner Thorson back on the speedway in the 88T out of Minden, Nevada.
We've talked about the suspension that Tanner Thorson is using, 4 coilover shocks, and that is very rare in the sprint car racing world, so something fairly unique for the driver of that number 88T. You can see those coilover shocks on the back end of the number 88 as it rolls through turns 1 and 2. Donnie Schatz back out in the Advanced Auto Parts number 15.
Caution flag was about to go back to the holder. It will as we prepare for a green flag on this second practice session for those who were in the first grouping. Field starting to pick up their pace as we look for a green. And Donnie Schatz quickest so far in practice. The 15 goes 11.431. Tanner Thorson, third fast. Sam Henderson, fourth fast off of his quick time award here on Sunday night. And now Tanner Thorson, second quick.
Schatz, Thorson, Gravel 1, 2, and 3 as the checkered flag waves on group number 1's final practice session. He was fastest when Group 1 was out earlier. He is now fastest overall in warm-ups for Flight A. Donnie Schatz in car number 15, 11.431 seconds. Final practice session of the evening, rolling on to the Speedway.
First out from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, the Hampel Oil, Sitcard Oil, Raw Machinery, Joel Pigeon Trucking, West River Trailer Sales, car number 10, Ryan Timms.
And the 5-time World of Outlaws champion from Grass Valley, California, in the Napa Curb Records Brumos Collection Durst Dakota Custom Builders number 49, the Big Cat, Brad Sweet.
From St. Helena, California, the Rico Abreu Curb Agagenian Racing, Kubota Genuine Parts, Stedelhofer Construction, Whiskey Myers, car number 24A, Rico Abreu.
And from Elk Grove, California, the Finley Farms Falcons Brothers Trucking Flow Racing JVI Group Roto-Rooter number 57 of Kyle Larson.
Outlaws rookie contender from Indianapolis, Indiana, in the C&D Rigging, Mesilla Valley Transportation, Tully's Heating and Cooling, Steve Beitler Yacht Charters, Hellraiser Jacks, car number 6, Zack Hampton.
And from Indianapolis, Indiana, the NOS Energy Drink, Elliott's Custom Trailers and Carts, Spire Motorsports, Brandt Professional Agriculture, Gainbridge number 7 BC. It's Sunshine Tyler Courtney.
And from Sioux Falls in the BS Automotive, Sioux Falls Paintless Dent Repair, A1 Framing, Genesis Auto Works, Pierce Midwest, car number 8X, Micah Slendy. Fourth practice session on the Speedway for the Husets Hustle with the World of Outlaws, NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars. .11.431, fastest lap so far this evening. That was by the 15 of Donnie Schatz. Does anyone go quicker in this fourth practice session?
Brad Sweet, 11.539. Rico Abreu to the top of the speed chart at 11.373.
Zack Hampton, fifth fast in the 6 car, 11.546. Brad Sweet quicker there at an 11.537. And now Kyle Larson's the quickest at 11.337.
That will wrap up practice for the drivers in Flight A of Honest Abe Roofing qualifying. Fastest driver in the final session and fastest overall in warm-ups, the number 57 of Kyle Larson at 11.337 seconds. Rico Abreu's second quick, 11.373. Donnie Schatz third, Tanner Thorson fourth, and Brad Sweet rounds out the top 5. Then Zack Hampton in the 6th spot, Tyler Courtney 7th, David Gravel 8th, Sam Henderson 9th, and Chris Windham completing the top 10 as we get set now for the first flight of Honest Abe Roofing qualifying with one car at a time on the speedway, 2 consecutive laps on the clock. Faster of those 2 laps scored as that driver's official qualifying time for tonight's race program. And of course, those qualifying points up for grabs in our format to line everything up here tomorrow evening.
All about the points all weekend long. You have to be fast every time you are on the speedway if you want to be in contention for a 6-figure payday. Fast time, we know, will start 6th in their heat race. Should be an interesting night with all of that happening. Cars in position as we get set to go into Honest Abe Roofing qualifying.
First driver to make his way to the speedway is the 10-time World of Outlaws champion. From Fargo, North Dakota, driving the Advanced Auto Parts curb, Martin 1, source number 15, it's Donnie Schatz. Donnie Schatz in car number 15. Schatz 6 wins, 21 top 5 finishes in 53 career starts here at the Husets Speedway. Donnie's opening lap time is an 11:3:44.11344. Most recent World of Outlaws win here for Donnie Schatz came back on July 3rd of 2016. Second lap time for Donnie Schatz is an 11:3:46. First lap, 0.02 of a second better, 11:3:44.
That brings us to the Sioux Falls, South Dakota driver of the Northland Buildings, Mintex Turbine Repair, ABA Window Coverings, GRP Motorsports Pro Aviation, car number 83 Junior. This is Sam Henderson. Henderson to the white flag, lap number 1. Quick time, 11:183.11.183. Henderson picked up his first career quick time in Sunday night competition at Huset Speedway this past weekend. Lap number 2 for Henderson will slow to an 11:366. He'll take the 11:183.
World of Outlaws leading Rookie of the Year contender. Next to see the green flag from Canton, Illinois, the NOS Energy Drink King Racing Products, Jim Shuknik, High Performance Lubricants, Phillips and Tosco Developers, number 7S. That is Chris Windham. Chris Windham in the 7S. Wyndham's opening lap is an 11:619.11.619. 7th place finish here Sunday night. His only career Huset start with the wing on the car. 2 USAC midget wins back in 2021. Second lap time for Windham is an 11:668. First lap better at 11:619.
And speaking of first laps with a wing on the car here at Huset's, this driver from Minden, Nevada, the Rod Gross Motorsports, JST Motorsports, Smith Titanium Maxima Oil number 88T, it's Tanner Thorson. Tanner Thorson in 88T. He'll come to the white flag, stops the clock on the opening lap. Third quick, 11:408.11.408. Thorson victorious here in 2021 without the wing on top in USAC competition. Lap number 2 goes quicker, 11:328. That's second quick.
Next driver to make his way to the green flag from Ankeny, Iowa, the C&D Elevator Construction, Higherview Enterprises, Heartland Steel, Tom Davis Automotive, number 4 of Cameron Martin. Cam Martin in car number 4. One appearance here this season, 9th in a B main on May 25th. Opening lap for Cam Martin is 11:556.11.556. Picked up a 360 sprint car feature win at the Knoxville Raceway last Saturday evening. Second lap time for Cam Martin, better at 11:452.11.452.
From East Grand Forks, Minnesota, this is the Proceed Ekman Dental Arts, AgServe Consulting, Phil Thompson and Associates, JW Repair, car number G5, the Bandit, Gage Polkerbeck. All sorts of mechanical issues here on Sunday night. Looks like they've got that rectified. Goes 5th fast, 11:566.11.566. One career quick time award here at Huset's. That was on July 28th of last season. Finished 9th in that evening's feature. Lap number 2 for Polkerbeck. Goes 11:572. He'll take the 11:566.
Another of the 7 contenders for the Kevin Gobrecht Award for Rookie of the Year honors on the clock next. From Lemoore, California, the 2C Racing Outlaw Wings, Durst Wedge High Performance Cards, Kaiser Aluminum Wheels, number 2C of Cole Macedo. Cole Macedo in the number 2C. First lap for Cole Macedo, 4th quick at 11:437.11.437. 2 career Huset Speedway starts, best finish 8th here on June 1st of this year. Second lap time for Cole Macedo is second quick, 11:274.11.274.
That brings us to a driver from Ankeny, Iowa, the C&D Elevator Construction, Higherview Enterprises, Heartland Steel, Tom Davis Automotive, car number 44. This is Chris Martin, struggling a bit with the cushion there in turn number 2. Martin to the white flag. His first lap shows the struggles, 11:878.11.878. Best finish of his career here at Huset's for Martin was a 3rd place showing on May 23rd of 2021. He'll cross under the checker, goes up to 6th fast at 11:4. 11:493.
Next to make his way onto the Speedway from Dillsburg, Pennsylvania, driving car number 39M, the Whitecap JNS Classic C&D Rigging, Randy Shearer Heating and Plumbing entry. Here's Anthony Macri. Anthony Macri in the 39M. Picked up a win in June here last year. Best of his 5 career appearances at Huset's. His opening lap is third quick, 11:297, 11:297. 7 wins this season, including one with the World of Outlaws at Williams Grove, Pennsylvania. Second lap time, second quick at 11:202, 11:202.
From Glendale, Arizona, here's the Pels Tire Service, RF Knox Company, Auto Barn, RSI Outdoors, Shark Racing, car number 1A. This is Ashton Torgerson. Ashton Torgerson in the 1A, making his wing debut here at Huset's. He'll stop the clock on the opening lap. Fourth fast, 11:310, 11:310. Torgerson with sprint car victories in 2025 at BAPS and Ocean Speedways. Lap number 2 for the 1A goes 11:402, 11:310 is his official time.
Clocking in next from Gympie, Queensland, Australia in the Corbett's group. Precision Well Service Lights Performance number 25. Here's Jai Corbett. Jai Corbett in car number 25. He's been 5th here on 2 occasions. That equals his best in 11 American starts this season. 7th quick on lap 1 at 11:399, 11:399. 5 World of Outlaws appearances on the year. Best finish 13th in Fargo. Second lap time for Corbett is better. It is now 6th quick at 11:329, 11:329.
From Clute, Texas, here's the Power Plus Volkins Brothers Trucking STC Commercial Edge Rasmussen Service Center, number 87. It's Aaron Reitzel. Reitzel struggles with that cushion we talked about a moment ago in turn number 2. Picked up a win yesterday at the High Banks Golf Classic. Reitzel on lap number 1, 11th fast, 11:576, 11:576. Reitzel has 3 career wins here at Husets Speedway, including one with the Outlaws in 2021. Lap number 2 for Reitzel is quicker and third quick at 11:241.
From Worcester, Ohio, the NOS Energy Drink, West Tennessee Expediting Frozen Farmer, Maximal Oil, number 17 of Sheldon Haudenschild. Sheldon Haudenschild in the number 17. 3 wins here at the Husets Speedway, including a victory last season. His opening lap time tonight is 9th quick at 11:375, 11:375. Tonight, his 17th career appearance with the World of Outlaws here at the Husets Speedway. Second lap time for Sheldon is better. It's into the top 5. 5th quick at 11:310, 11:310.
From Grand Forks, North Dakota, this is the Ewing Oil All Construction Fabricators Unlimited AMSOIL Development Home Games, car number 8H of Jade Hastings. Jade Hastings on the clock now, the 3-time Buffalo Wild Wings Northern Outlaws Sprint Association champion. He'll go 14th fast, 11:712, 11:712. Best career finish here at Huset's for Hastings is the 3rd place showing on May 26th of last season. Lap number 2 for Hastings will move up to the 14th spot, 11:649.
Underway next from Fresno, California, in the Logan Contractor Supply, Ted's Body Shop, Team Excavating, BSM Enterprises number 18, Hot Sauce, Giovani Scelzi. Giovani Scelzi in car number 18. Best finish here at Huset's with the World of Outlaws, 4th on 2 occasions. His opening lap is 10th quick, 11:399, 11:399. A winner here on May 22nd of 2022. Second lap time is better. It is still 10th quick at 11:361, 11:361.
Here's a driver from Lonsdale, Minnesota, the Brody Racing Engines, GRP Motorsports, Angler Machine and Tool, Kaiser Racing Wheels, Hawk Wings by One Off Fabrication, car number 33. It's Scott Brody. Scott Brody in car number 33. He'll cross under the white flag and go 16th fast, 11:967, 11:967. Best finish of his young career here at Huset's is a 19th place showing earlier this year on June 8th. Lap number 2 is 12th fast, 11:475 for Scott Brody.
Next to see the green flag from Tempe, Arizona, driving the Lori Keough, MP Environmental, Apache Transport, Chuck D's, Wieners number 2X, Alex Pettis. Alex Pettis in car number 2X, making his first World of Outlaws start since 2013 this evening. His opening lap at 11:996, 11:996. Best finish here this season, an 18th place run on May 11th. It's also his best in 10 total sprint car starts in 2025. Second lap time for Pettis is an 11:822, 11:822.
From Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, here's the Dahmer Powertrain, Subcon General Contractors, Telstar, Maxima Oil, Hobson family. Car number 21H of Brady Bacon. Brady Bacon in the 21H. The Macho Man coming to the white flag. He will stop the clock on his first go-round. 12 fast, 11.454, 11.454. He's finished twice here in winged competition at Huset Speedway. Lap number 2 is an 11.594. 11.454 is the official time for Brady Bacon.
The defending World of Outlaws champion and the current points leader on the clock now from Watertown, Connecticut, the BillionAuto.com, Husets Speedway, Jackson Motorplex, Prosper Real Estate Investments, JRC Transportation, number 2 of David Gravel. David Gravel in car number 2. His first lap time is third, quick 11.206, 11.206. 3 World of Outlaws victories, 4 overall in his career at the Huset Speedway. Second lap time for David Gravel is an 11.237. First lap better at 11.206.
Coming up to speed now from Butterfield, Minnesota, the T&K Transport, Joel Pingin Trucking, Rock Street Tavern, Heartland Real Estate, Downs Food Group, car number 23W of Scott Winters. Scott Winters in the 23W, 8 times a winner here at Huset Speedway in his career. Lap number 1, 12 fast, 11.375, 11.375. Those 8 victories at Huset Speedway headlined by a victory with the All-Stars here on August 1st of 2009. Lap number 2 for Winters and his 11.688, 11.375 puts him 12th fast.
The 2024 Huset Speedway champion from Sioux Falls, South Dakota, the Hefty Seed, Blondie Motorsports, Falcons Brothers Trucking, Onsen Underground, number 6K of Caleb Johnson. Caleb Johnson in car number 6K. First time by for Johnson, 8th quick, 11.322, 11.322. Heard Sean talk about his first career 410 win here. He's a 3-time winner in 2025. Quick time on lap number 2 at 11.161, 11.161 quick time for Caleb Johnson.
Another of the Outlaw Rookie of the Year contenders on the track now from Bradenton, Florida. The Tubba Towels, Emily Oil, USA Steel Fence, Autoloads.com, number 28M. This is Connor Morell. Connor Morell in the 28M. 14th fast, 11.412, 11.412. Making his Huset Speedway debut is Morell. Has a best finish so far this season with the Outlaws. Second at Ohsweken on May 15th. Lap number 2 will go 11.482, 11.412 is Morell's time.
Your next Honest Abe Roofing qualifier from Springfield, Nebraska, driving the certified transmission. Carpet Land, Estenson Racing, Mecum Auctions, Backlund Plumbing, number 53. It's Jack Dover. Jack Dover in the number 53. Lap 1 in the books for Dover. It is 22nd quickest, 11.758, 11.758. 12 World of Outlaws starts here. Best finish 16th in 2021. His second place run here Sunday. His best of the season. Second lap time improves to 11.744, 11.744.
From Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, this is the Hampton Oil, Sidcard Oil, Raw Machinery, Joel Pingin Trucking, West River Trailer Sales. Number 10, it's Ryan Timms. Ryan Timms on the clock now 2 times to Seafoam Victory Lane this season at Huset Speedway. Lap number 1 for Timms, 19th fast, 11.555, 11.555, the full house for him. 8 career victories, including those 2 here at Huset's this season. Lap number 2 for Timms, 18th fast, 11.481.
Brad Sweet out of Grass Valley, California. The Napa Curb Records, Brumos Collection, Durst, Dakota Custom Builders, number 49, and Brad Sweet. Sweet gets 1 lap and 1 lap only of qualifying. An unauthorized engine start in the pit area earlier this afternoon, costing him a lap of qualifying, and his 1 lap is second quick, 11.181, 11.181 for the 49 of Brad Sweet.
That brings us to Micah Slendy, the Sioux Falls, South Dakota driver in the BS Automotive, Sioux Falls Paintless Dent Repair, A1 Framing, Genesis Auto Works, Pierce Midwest, car number 8X. Slendy in his second season behind the wheel of a 410 sprint car, and lap number 1 is a 12.185, 12.185, his best career finish. Make this his 3rd season, his best career finish in a 410, a 6th place showing with NOSA at the I-90 Speedway in 2023. He'll go 12.012 on his 2nd lap.
From Elk Grove, California, in the Finley Farms, Falcons Brothers Trucking, Flow Racing, JVI Group, Roto-Rooter, number 57, it's Kyle Larson. Kyle Larson in the number 57. 2 World of Outlaws victories here at the Huset Speedway. His first lap time is 15th quick, 11.393, 11.393. 5 top 5 finishes in 10 career starts here at Huset's. His second lap is quick time 11:137, 1:1:137 quick time for the 57 of Kyle Larson.
Timing in next from Indianapolis, Indiana, the NOS Energy Drink, Elliott's Custom Trailers and Carts, Spire Motorsports, Brandt, Gainbridge, car number 7 BC. This is Sunshine, Tyler Courtney. Lap number 1 for the 7 BC, 17 fast, 11:439, 1:1:439. Courtney victorious here last season on June 19th. He'll stop the clock on lap number 2, 11th fast, 11:325.
From Indianapolis, Indiana, driving the C&D Rigging, Mesilla Valley Transportation, Tully's Heating and Cooling, Steve Butler Yacht Charters, Hellraiser Jacks number 6, Zack Hampton. Zack Hampton in the number 6. One previous appearance here at Huset's, finished 24th 2 years ago. Opening lap this evening is a 15, made that an 11:519, 1:15:19, 23rd fastest. Second lap for Zack Hampton is an 11:575. First lap official at 11:519.
From St. Helena, California, here's the Rico Abreu Curb Agajanian Racing Kubota Genuine Parts, Stadelhofer Construction, Whiskey Myers, car number 24. It's Rico Abreu. Rico Abreu on the track now in the number 24. He's the final car to qualify here in Group A. Lap number 1, quick time 11:062, 1:1062. Final car, no problem for Rico Abreu. He'll make his way to the checkered and goes 11:182 on his second lap, but his first lap effort good enough to go to number 1 on the speed pylon. 11:062 quick time for the 24 of Rico Abreu.
So flight A of Honest Abe Roofing qualifying is complete. Rico Abreu the quickest at 11.062 seconds. Kyle Larson second, 11:137. Caleb Johnson third at 11:161. Brad Sweet fourth, and Sam Henderson rounding out the top 5, followed by Anthony Macri sixth. David Gravel seventh fastest. Aaron Reitzel eighth. Cole Macedo ninth, and Sheldon Haudenschild completing the top 10. Send it downstairs to Connor Wade.
Rico Abreu, the last car to go out, sets quick time. Rico, I know you still got your helmet on, probably catching your breath. A couple of guys that went out late found speed late in that qualifying run. Where was the moisture, the spot you had to hit to be fast?
Yeah, the track just got pretty defined there. It's can be an advantage sometimes going out later when the track has that much moisture in it and gets really defined. So just happy to these guys. You know, we've really just tried to put an effort into our short track program, and cool to have Kubota Genuine Parts on our car this weekend.
Last time Rico was quick time at Huset's was 2013. That'll change tonight if it holds to be the overall fast time.
Thank you, Connor Wade. So again, the drivers in Flight A now making the trek across the backstretch to the outer pit area. We see cars already staged for Flight B. They'll come in and have their 4 practice sessions before they take their turn on the clock. Meanwhile, the track crew out there doing some wall scraping and packing the top side of the speedway. And for those of you who may be new to sprint car racing, the reason we put the stripes on the wall, when that wet clay gets thrown up against the outside wall and sticks to it, it makes it very difficult for the drivers to determine just where the racetrack ends. And so to give them a better visual reference point, we put the stripes on the wall. And Sean Neistat, certainly plenty of wet clay thrown up against the wall here so far this evening.
I don't want that job. There's a little bit of effort that goes into getting that wall scraped up and cleaned. But, yeah, a lot of good moisture in the racetrack here early on in the evening. And with 60 of these fire-breathing sprint cars on hand, it's going to take some moisture in that racetrack to make it not through tonight, but the rest of the weekend. And I have full confidence we will have a very racy track later on this evening. Great crowd filing in for this Wednesday night of the Husets Hustle, and it's just going to get more and more exciting and packed up with fans. A great turnout already in the Scops RV Travelland campground outside turns 3 and 4. And for all of those camping out in turn 2, they know they're having a great time already this week. And yeah, a big-time event here at the Speedway. Make sure to join us outside of turn number 4 every week. Race Day Live, presented by DIRTVision on the My Race Pass stage, 5 until 6 o'clock. Join us up there. And, of course, all the other fun and festivities of Vendors Row happening outside of turn 4 all afternoon and evening long until we've got those cars on the racetrack and you want to come in and take your seats.
Connor Wade told us about this format during the open of the DIRTVision broadcast. We mentioned the 6-car invert in each of our 3 heat races for each flight, 6 total heat races. We can tell you the drivers sitting on the pole for the first 3 heat races will be Connor Morell, Scott Winters, and Giovani Scelzi, with Donnie Schatz, Jai Corbett, and Tanner Thorson on the outside of the front row of our first 3 heat races as we stage the drivers for practice session number 1 in Flight B of Honest Abe Roofing qualifying. First to make his way onto the Speedway from Lebanon, Indiana, the Sander Engineering, 4 Cs Construction, Autry Plumbing, Tally Oil, Sencal Performance, number 14 of Spencer Baston.
Also on track from T, South Dakota, the Golf Addiction, Wayne Carini CPA, Seal Pros, GRP Motorsports, Lawn Science, number 83H, Justin Henderson.
And from Hartford, South Dakota, in the Sioux Falls, Kenworth, Beep Motorsports, Dakota Cub Aircraft, Uncle Ed Specialty Meats, number 80P, Jacob Peterson.
From Higginsville, Missouri, in the Casey's, FVP, Andy's Frozen Custard, Impact Signs, Dittsfield Transfer, car number 21, it's Blackjack, Brian Brown.
And from Felton, Minnesota, the TDS Trucking, Landmark Companies, STP Manufacturing, Slingshot Ropes, number 64 of Andy Pink.
An IBEW Rookie of the Year contender here at Huset Speedway in our weekly competition. He's from Armour, South Dakota, drives the Workweld, Rexwinkle Concrete, Central Plains Automation, Votes Repair, Dakota Territory Gun Collectors Association, car number 31, Kobe Workmeister.
And from Grand Forks, North Dakota, in the Buffalo Wild Wings, Lundstrom Motorsports, Dahlstrom Motors, DeKalb Seed, Kylo Trucking at number 13, Dynamite, Mark Dobmeyer.
From Enumclaw, Washington, in the Kane Screen Print Caravan Trailers, Cressman Sanitation, Bam Bam's Barbecue Sauce, Dakota Custom Builders, car number 9, Casey Kane.
So the drivers in the first practice session have staged around the racetrack. We await the remaining drivers in Flight B of Honest Abe Roofing to make their way into the infield to stage. A look at that number 14 of Spencer Baston, and Baston victorious here in World of Outlaws action back in 2023. Tonight marks his 10th World of Outlaws start of the 2025 season.
Baston was in competition with us this past Sunday night, getting prepared for this BillionAuto.com Huset's High Bank Nationals presented by Menards Week of Racing Action. Had contact in the feature event, took the front end out of it, and sidelined him for the rest of the evening. Meantime, Justin Henderson also on the Speedway preparing for this practice session. Former champion, most recently in 2021 here at Huset's in the 410 Sprint Car Division. Also was a champion in 2002 and in the 360 Division in the year 2000.
Blackjack Brian Brown making what is a fairly rare appearance at the Husets Speedway. Does have a runner-up here, finish here with the World of Outlaws back in 2022. Picked up a victory here in 2015. That's his best in 20 career starts here.
And Casey Kane, what a story he was coming in here on June 27th of 1999. Young up-and-comer got his first career win at Huset Speedway and then waited all the way until 2023 to return to Huset's Seafoam victory lane. So Casey Kane, 2 career victories here at Huset's. And if you want to talk about career victories, the driver over there just in front of him, Dynamite Mark Dobmeyer, no stranger to Seafoam victory lane here at Huset Speedway. He has 70 trophies from this track.
Set to fire the engines. Practice session number 1, Flight B of Honest Abe Roofing qualifying. Getting set to wave the green flag on the first practice session for the drivers in Flight B of Honest Abe Roofing qualifying. It's the opening night of the Husets Hustle for the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series.
White flag waves. We'll see some lap times start to come in. Andy Pagan 11.9. Colby Workmeister 11.7, and now an 11.601 for Mark Dobmeyer. He's replaced by Casey Kane.
Justin Henderson up to second now behind Kane, and just as I say that, Brian Brown moves into the runner-up spot.
Right there in the last moment, Spencer Baston will move up to position number 2 in car number 14 at 11.492. Quickest in that opening flight of practice, the 9 of Casey Kane at 11.395.
Cars rolling onto the speedway for practice session number 2. First out from Knoxville, Iowa, and the QTC Busters Bar Make It Mine Designs, E3 Motorsports, M&M Carruthers, number 16, Riley Goodnow.
From Sanborn, Minnesota, the Joel Pingen Trucking, Creek Area Ag Service, Jeffers Implement Service, Golden Harvest Enogen, Anderson Farms, number 24T, Christopher Traum.
And car number 45X, the J.B. Henderson Construction, Mesilla Valley Transportation, Smith Titanium, Miller Bonded, MPV Logistics entry. Driver out of Benton, Arkansas is Landon Crawley.
From Heartland, Wisconsin, by way of North Pole, Alaska, and the Andersons Pure Maple Syrup, Honest Abe Roofing, KSI Supply, CK Contractors, Buser Concrete, car number 17B, the North Pole Nightmare, Bill Balog.
And from Pen Grove, California, driving the Toyota Racing Development Mobile 1 Roth Motorsports, Roth Enterprises, HR Livestock Transportation, number 83, Buddy Kofoid.
From Lemoore, California, the All-Ball Your Alternative, MPT, Tarleton and Sons, H Family, Scott Boyd Family, Complete Parts and Equipment Solutions, 41, Carson Macedo.
And from St. Mary's, New South Wales, Australia, the Iowa Barnstormers, Landis, Des Moines Industrial Products, Jersey Freeze, number 2, KS of Ian Manson.
Also from Columbia, Missouri, the SNS Nationwide, CSC Group, LRI, Eagle Stop, Missouri Games, Impact Signs, Abbott Telecom, 23 of Garrett Williamson. Green is waving, cars coming up to speed.
Landon Crawley so far fastest in this session, but Buddy Kofoid moves to the top of the speed chart with an 11.152.
Carson Macedo second fast in this group, third fast overall, 11.467.
Buddy Kofoid quickest in that group, quickest overall so far in practice for Flight B, 11.152. Casey Kane second, Carson Macedo in the third spot, then Spencer Baston and Brian Brown as group number 3 of practice for the second flight of Honest Abe Roofing qualifying rolls onto the speedway. First to hit the racing surface, car number 96, Lundstrom Motorsports, RNS Sales, Precision Planting, Richard Ewing Equipment, Paradise Pool and Spa number 96, Blaine Stegninga.
Outlaw rookie contender from Leduc, Alberta, Canada. The Warrior Building Development, Building Packages Direct, Nelson Brothers Construction, Pat Rack Dumpsters, number 99, Skylar G.
Car number 11, the Knife River Simplot Tire 1 Valvoline entry. Driver out of Grand Forks, North Dakota is Brendan Mullen.
From Brookings, South Dakota, the Dobish Construction, Paradise Pool and Spa, Sodbusters, Austrian Landscaping, Ron's Auto Repair, car number 9D, Dominic Dobish.
And from San Jose, California, driving the Acres Away Ag, Dakota Alignment, King Racing Products, Elite Truck, Lundstrom Motorsports, number 3, it's Tim Kading.
And from St. Mary's, New South Wales, Australia, the TK Concrete, Maxim Trucking, Elite Installation, Zip Bonds, Vermeer Motorsports, car number 55V, the Madman, Kerry Madsen.
And from Hartford, South Dakota, the GNR Controls, Beatty Forsyth, Midwestern Mechanical, Aaron Designs, number 8 of Jacob Hughes. Getting ready for green flag action in practice session number 3. Skylar G, third overall in Flight B practice, 11.446.
Kerry Madsen into the top 10, 11.549 for the 55V.
Madsen now up to third at 11.428 as the checkered flag waves. Kerry Madsen turning 11.428 is the fastest driver in that practice session, third overall so far for Flight B. Final practice session of the evening, set to roll onto the speedway, led out by car number 69K. That is the Glenville Station Pub and Grub, Jetco, Kreitz Oval Track Parts entry. The driver out of Norman, Oklahoma is Christopher Bell.
From Waco, Texas, the All Ball Your Alternative, Infamous Inc., Burco Redwoods, Bush's Chicken, car number 9R, Chase Randall.
And from Eagle, Nebraska, the Forbes Motorsports, Cherney Enterprises, American Trailer Company, Drucke Trucking, number 95 of Tyler Drucke.
From Hanover, Pennsylvania, the Dryden Duramax Federated Auto Parts, C&D Rigging, C2C Construction, Jacobs Landing Campground, car number 1S, Logan Schuhart.
And from T, South Dakota, the Dammer Trucking, Franklin Motor Company, Octane Inc., West River Trailer Sales, State Bank of Fairmont, number 09, Matt Jewell.
From Altoona, Iowa, the Country Builders Construction, Ochoco West, Tucker Trucking, Ophil Family, Bosma Poultry, number 88, Austin McCarl.
And from Sikeston, Missouri, driving the TK Concrete, Maxim Trucking, Logan Contractor Supply, Zip Bond Smoker, Source Cigar Bar, Inland Rigging, number 55. That's Hunter Schurenberg. Final practice session of the evening for the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series. Hunter Schurenberg, 11.500, 8th quickest so far in this flight practice.
Chase Randall, 16th fast, 11.621. 17th fast overall for Christopher Bell, 11.646.
That wraps up practice session number 4 for Flight B. Hunter Schurenberg, quickest in that group at 11.500. Buddy Kofoid overall, quickest for Flight B practice at 11.152. Casey Kane second, Kerry Madsen third, Skylar G fourth, and Carson Macedo fifth. Once again, getting set for another Honest Abe Roofing qualifying session with one car at a time. But Sean, very quickly, lineups posted for the drivers in Flight A and the first heat race this evening. That NOS Energy Drink heat race absolutely stacked. We take a look at the lineup. Giovani Scelzi and Tanner Thorson on the front row. Sheldon Haudenschild, David Gravel in row 2. Brad Sweet and Rico Abreu in row number 3.
Unbelievably stacked field, and both those drivers, by the way, in row number 2 have taken six-figure paydays out of this speedway in their careers, so that will be one to watch here this evening.
Also of note in that heat race from the outside of row number 4, Ryan Timms in car number 10. Second flight of Honest Abe Roofing qualifying, pushing toward the speedway.
And the first car to push off is an IBEW Local 426 Rookie of the Year contender in weekly competition here at Huset Speedway. He's from Hartford, South Dakota. The Uncle Ed Specialty Meats, Jeff Davis Enterprises, Dakota Cub Aircraft, the American Truck Store Design House, car number ADP. It's Jacob Peterson. Jacob Peterson in the ADP, graduated from West Central High School here in South Dakota this spring. Lap number 1 for Peterson, quick time out of 1 at 11.724. Peterson, the MSTS Rookie of the Year in the 410s last season, and this is his first full-year campaign in the 410s at Huset's. Lap number 2 goes quicker, 11.699 for the third-generation driver.
Underway next from Higginsville, Missouri, driving the Casey's FVP, Andy's Frozen Custard Impact Signs, JB Welding, Houseby number 21, Blackjack, Brian Brown. Brian Brown in car number 21. Tonight, his 11th World of Outlaws start of the season. Best finished 6th at Volusia Speedway Park. Opening lap for Brownies. Quick time at 11.564, 115.64. 2 wins this season at the Knoxville Raceway. Second lap for Brian Brown is an 11.684. First lap better at 11.564.
Here's Andy Paik on the clock next. He's out of Felton, Minnesota in the TDS Trucking Landmark Company's STP Manufacturing Slingshot Ropes car number 64. Paik will stop the clock on his opening voyage. Second fast, 11.675, 11675. Paik was named the IBEW Rookie of the Year in weekly competition here at Huset's in 2024. And he'll stop the clock on the second lap, 11.745, 11.675 is his time.
Underway next from T, South Dakota, and car number 83H, the Golf Addiction, Wayne Carini CPA, Mintex, Seal Pro City Vending entry. Here's Justin Henderson. Justin Henderson in car number 83H with an opening lap time. Quick time in Flight B, 11.541, 11541. So accomplished in his career here at the Husets Speedway. Second lap time for Henderson better at 11.403, 403.
Getting cars into position down there onto the infield and firing onto the speedway now from Lebanon, Indiana. The Sander Engineering, Four Seas Construction, Autry Plumbing, Tally Oil, Sencal Performance. Car number 14, it's Spencer Baston. Baston takes the green flag. 2022 World of Outlaws Rookie of the Year, Husets Speedway victory with the Outlaws here on June 22nd of 2022. Second quick, 11.430, 430 for Baston on his first lap. He'll look at the checkered flag, stops the clock on lap number 2. Quicker, but still second quick, 11.410, 11410.
Next driver to clock in from Grand Forks, North Dakota, the Buffalo Wild Wings, Dahlstrom Motors, DeKalb Seed. GLB Trucking, number 13, Dynamite, Mark Dobmeyer. Mark Dobmeyer in car number 13. Opening lap for Dobmeyer, 11.746, 11746. Fourth in the points here at the Husets Speedway. Nosa win up at the River City Speedway in Grand Forks. Second lap time at 11.759. First lap better at 11.746.
Coming up to speed now, a young driver out of Armour, South Dakota. The Workweld, Rex Winkle Concrete, Central Plains Automation, Votes Repair, Dakota Territory Gun Collectors Association. Car number 31 is Kobe Workmeister. Workmeister, a Rookie of the Year candidate here at Huset Speedway in the 410s. He'll go fourth fast, 11.619, 11619. He was Rookie of the Year in the IMCA Sprint Cars here in 2022. In fact, was the National Rookie of the Year with IMCA that season. Checker flag waves for him, go slower on lap 2, 11.830. He'll take 11.619, sits position 4.
From Enumclaw, Washington, driving the Kane Screen Print Caravan Trailers, Cressman Sanitation, Bam Bam's Barbecue Sauce, Dakota Custom Builders number 9, it's Casey Kane. Casey Kane in car number 9. First lap for Casey Kane, third quick, 11.468, 11468. Best finish here with the World of Outlaws came 3 years ago with a third place run. Second lap for Casey Kane is an 11.475. First lap better at 11.468.
On track next from St. Mary's, New South Wales, Australia. This is the Iowa Barnstormers Landis, Des Moines Industrial Products, Webb Family Farm, Central Iowa Shed. Car number 2KS, it's Ian Madsen. Ian Madsen in car number 2KS made his return to stateside sprint car racing with the Outlaws at the Jackson Motorplex a couple weeks back. Lap number 1 for Madsen, fourth fast, 11.510, 11510. Madsen has been to victory lane here at Huset Speedway 6 times, including 2 with the All-Stars. Lap number 2 for Ian Madsen, fourth fast, 11.570 on lap 2. He'll take the 11.510.
Next to clock in from Lemoore, California, the Outlaw Year Alternative, MVT Charlton & Son, Sage Family, Scott Boyd Family, Complete Parts and Equipment Solutions, number 41 of Carson Macedo. Carson Macedo in car number 41. 2 wins here at the Huset Speedway with the World of Outlaws. His first lap is third, quick 11.439, 11439. Second lap time for Carson Macedo, 11.762. First lap better, 11.439 seconds.
From Pengrove, California, here's the Toyota Racing Development, Mobile One, Roth Motorsports, Roth Enterprises, HR Livestock Transportation, car number 83 of Buddy Kofoid. Buddy Kofoid in the 83. He has 4 career victories here at Husets Speedway. Stopping the clock on lap number 1. Quick time, 11.333. 11.333 for Buddy Kofoid on his opening lap. 2 of those 4 career victories here at Husets with the Outlaws. Lap number 2, quicker, 11.230. Buddy Kofoid now quick time in Group B.
From Sanborn, Minnesota, the Traum Farms, Joe Pingin Trucking, Creek Area, Anderson Farms, Golden Harvest Engine, number 24T of Christopher Traum. Christopher Traum in car number 24T. Traum's first lap time at 11.763, 117.63. Of note, when Buddy Kofoid got that quick time, he ran a little bit lower line, or sorry, Carson Macedo with that lower line in turns 3 and 4. Second lap time for Traum, 11.890. First lap better, 11.763.
That brings us another of the Outlaws Rookie of the Year contenders. This one from Columbia, Missouri. The SNS Nationwide, CSC Group, LRI, Eagle Stop, Missouri Games, Impact Signs, Abbott Telecom, number 23. It's Garrett Williamson. Garrett Williamson in the number 23. Lap number 1 for Williamson, 13th fast, 11.771. 3 times to victory lane here at Huset Speedway, once in 2023, twice last season. He'll try a lower line through 3 and 4, and he'll stop the clock. 7th fast, 11.526.
From Knoxville, Iowa, in the QTC Buster's Bar, Make It Mine Designs, E3 Motorsports, M&M Carruthers, number 16. Here's Riley Goodnow. Riley Goodnow in the number 16. 15 World of Outlaws starts here at Husets, including his career best finish of 3rd in 2022. First lap this evening at 11.867, 11.867. Currently 5th in the point standings here at the Husets Speedway. Best finish on the year, a 4th place run on June 8th. Second lap time for Goodnow up to 10th quick at 11.642, 11.642.
That brings us to driver from Heartland, Wisconsin in the Anderson's Pure Maple Syrup, Honest Abe Roofing, KSI Supply, CK Contractors, Beecher Concrete, number 17B. It's the North Pole Nightmare, Bill Balog. Bill Balog in the 17B. He'll stop the clock on his first lap, 11th fast, 11.673, 11.673. Last 3 finishes here with the Outlaws for Balog, a 9th, a 5th, and most recently a 3rd. Lap number 2 for Balog. Quicker, 11.492, 6th fast.
Next driver on the clock. From Benton, Arkansas, in the J.B. Henderson Construction, Mesilla Valley Transportation, Smith Titanium, Miller Bonded, MPV Logistics, number 45X, Landon Crawley. Landon Crawley in the 45X. Opening lap time for Crawley is an 11.928, 11.928. A little bit of a struggle on the cushion on that opening lap. Tries the low side in 3 and 4, gets a little loose in the 4th turn. His second lap time will be a 12.033. First lap official at 11.928.
From Valley Springs, South Dakota, this is the Lundstrom Motorsports R&S Sales Precision Planting, Richard Ewing Equipment, Paradise Pool and Spa, 5-star painting, number 96 of Blaine Stengaga. Blaine Stengaga, his first full year behind the wheel of a 410 power plant sprint car. Lap number 1 is a 12.236, 1.2236. Stengaga, a 3-time world champion quad racer, 25 career quad championships. Lap number 2, quicker, 11.894 for Blaine Stengaga.
Driver on the clock now from Hartford, South Dakota, the GNR Controls, Beatty Forsyth, Midwestern Mechanical, Aaron Designs, number 8 of Jacob Hughes. Jacob Hughes in the number 8. His first lap time is 14th quick, 11.716, 11.716. Best finish here, June 1st, 25th. 3 World of Outlaws appearances this year. Best finish 12th in the Microlight Last Chance Showdown at Knoxville. Second lap time 12.016. First lap better at 11.716.
Brendan Mullen coming up to speed now. He's out of Grand Forks, North Dakota. Drives the Knife River Simplot Tire 1 Valvoline, car number 11M. Finished 3rd in the overall point standings last season here at Huset Speedway in the 410 Sprint Car Division. He'll cross under the white flag, stops the clock at a 12.141, 12.141. 2021 championship with the Buffalo Wild Wings Northern Outlaw Sprint Association. His best career run here at Huset's is 4th. He's done that multiple times. Lap number 2 is a 12.052.
Another one of the World of Outlaws Rookie of the Year contenders clocks in now from Leduc, Alberta, Canada. And the Warrior Building Development Building Packages, Direct Nelson Brothers Construction, Pack Rat Dumpsters, number 99. It's Skylar G. Skylar G in car number 99. First lap time for G, 11.770, 11770. 21st here with the All-Star Circuit of Champions in 2020, his only previous start here at Husets. Tries the lower line in corners 3 and 4, and the result is not as good as an 11.889. First lap official at 11.770.
Here's the TK Concrete Maxim Trucking Elite Installation Zip Bonds Vermeer Motorsports car number 55B. The driver from St. Mary's, New South Wales, Australia, is the Madman, Kerry Madsen. Madsen has already collected a quick time award here at Husets in 2025. He'll go 18th fast on his first lap, 11.804, 11804. The 2014 Kings Royal champion has never been to Husets Speedway Victory Lane, has a handful of second place runs. He'll jump all the way up to 6th on his second lap, 11.483.
Dominic Dobish next on the clock. Dobish out of Brookings, South Dakota. The Dobish Construction Paradise Pools and Spas, Sodbusters Incorporated, Austrian Landscaping at number 9D. First lap time for Dominic Dobish is a 12.343, 1.2343. 24th place finish here Sunday night, the best of his 3 starts at Husets this season. And he's off the pace on lap number 2. Time officially will be a 12.727. First lap at a 12.343 will be his Honest Abe Roofing qualifying time.
From San Jose, California, this is the Acresway Ag First National Bank, Dakota Alignment, Dammer Trucking, Valley Springs Body Shop, car number 3. It's Tim Kading. Tim Kading in the number 3, his opening lap. 13th fast, 11.647, 11647. 14 career Huset Speedway victories, including one with the Outlaws. That was July 3rd of 2013. Lap number 2 for Kading goes 11.679. He'll take the 11.647.
Rolling to the green flag now from Altoona, Iowa. Driving the Country Builders Construction, Ochoko, West Tucker Trucking, Oakville Family, Bosma Poultry, number 88, the big unit, Austin McCarl. Austin McCarl in car number 88. Lap 1, 6th quick, 11.481, 11481 for the driver who got his career best finish here with the World of Outlaws, a second place run in 2021. He owns 3 career Husets Speedway victories. His second lap is an 11.516, first lap official at 11.481.
From Norman, Oklahoma, here's the Glenville Station Pub and Grub, Jetco, Kreitz Oval Track Parts, car number 69K. It's Christopher Bell. Christopher Bell in the 69K, making his Husets Speedway debut here this evening. 6 career victories with the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series. Lap number 1 for Bell is an 11.762, 11762. Donnie Kreitz has taken the 69K to victory lane here at Husets Speedway. Lap number 2 moves up to 16th fast, 11.678.
From Hanover, Pennsylvania, the Dryden Duramax Federated Auto Parts, C&E Rigging, C2C Construction, Jacobs Landing Campground, number 1S of Logan Schuhart. Logan Schuhart in car number 1S, 2023 World of Outlaws winner here at the Husets Speedway. His first lap this evening is 22nd quickest, 11.776, 11776. Tonight his 22nd appearance. The Bull Ring in Brandon, South Dakota. Second lap time is better. 20th quick, 11.747, 11747.
Another Outlaw rookie contender coming up to speed. This one out of Sikeston, Missouri to TK Concrete, Maxim Trucking, Logan Contractor Supply, Zip Bond, Smoker's Choice Cigar Bar, Inland Rigging, number 55. It's Hunter Schurenberg. Schurenberg trying that lower line as he comes to the white flag. 15th fast, 11.674, 11674. Best showing for Schurenberg here at Huset Speedway, second on June 1st. Lap number 2 will move up to 13th at 11.625.
Next driver to take the green flag from Waco, Texas, the all-by your alternative, Infamous Inc., Bearco Redwoods, Bush's Chicken, number 9R, it's Chase Randall. Chase Randall in car number 9R. Picked up his 5th career Husets Speedway win this past Sunday evening. His opening lap this evening is 12th quick at 11.580, 11580. Second here last year, his best World of Outlaws finish at Husets and the best of his career with the greatest show on dirt. Second lap time for Chase Randall, a little bit quicker, still 12th in the order at 11.576, 11576.
Taking the green now from Eagle, Nebraska, the Forbes Motorsports, Journey Enterprises, American Trailer Company, Drucke Trucking, car number 95. This is the Duke, Tyler Drucke. Tyler Drucke in the 95. stopping the clock at a 12:057, 1:2057. Got a feature win here in the 410 sprints at Husets on May 19th of last season, 4-time Eagle Raceway champion. Lap number 2 for Druki is improved up to 25th, 11:856.
And the final Honest Abe Roofing qualifier of the evening takes the green flag now from T, South Dakota. He drives the Dammer Trucking, Franklin Motor Company, Octane Inc., West River Trailer Sales, State Bank of Fairmont, number 09, Matt Jewell. Matt Jewell in car number 09. Opening lap for Jewell is an 11:772, 1:1772. Best finish here, 11th on May 11th of this season. 12th in the track's point standings. Second lap time for Matt Jewell is better, 21st quick at 11:725, 1:1725. That wraps up Flight B of Honest Abe Roofing qualifying. Fastest driver in that flight, Buddy Kofoid in car number 83 at 11.230 seconds. Justin Henderson second quick, 11.403. Spencer Baston third at 11.410. Carson Macedo and Casey Kane round out the top 5. Your overall Simpson Quick Time Award winner this evening out of Flight A, Rico Aber with that 11.062 as we send it downstairs to Connor Wade.
Buddy Kofoid, quick time tonight in Flight B. Last year's High Bank Nationals champion. Buddy, you were one of the first cars to run the bottom in 3 and 4. What point did you decide that's the line you were going to run, and how did you know it'd be so quick?
I feel like, honestly, I've come here a lot, and the bottom in 3 and 4 always seems to like kind of come in. And when I rolled out for hot laps, the top in 3 and 4 looked kind of hazy in a way and kind of curved up. And I feel like when you give up so much speed going uphill into 3 before you turn, where into 3 you can just hammer at the bottom and get around to the center way quicker. And like in hot laps, I didn't even run the top in 3 and 4, so I felt really comfortable down there and figured, we'd kind of probably just roll the same game plan, and luckily it worked out, and hopefully we can go forward in the T-race.
Buddy Kofoid, quick time in Flight B. Husets Speedway, one of his favorite racetracks in the country, and he's always good at this 1/3 mile.
Thank you so much, Connor Wade. So with Honest Abe Roofing qualifying complete, we'll let the drivers cross back to the outer pit area and get ready for our opening ceremonies, which will be coming up after this break here on DIRTVision.